Bunny skydives in at 12:30 and get the pictures, the family picture right there. Florbama.com, Florbama.com. Rockstar, thank you. Great job. EG, Little T, thank you. Lunsford, Tyler, everybody did an incredible job this week. Dunaway and I will be back live before the game and after the game in the Elite Eight for the Crimson Tide, so make sure you set your alerts. Give us a thumbs up before you get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us on the next round. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Saturday and then again on Monday.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
I'm waking up to ash and dust. I wipe my brow and I sweat my rust. I'm breathing in the chemicals. I'm breaking in, shaping up, then checking out on this prison bus. This is it, the apocalypse. Whoa, I'm waking up. I feel it in my bones to make my systems grow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Ooh, oh, 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 ooh, oh, oh. I'm radioactive, radioactive. Ooh, oh, 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 ooh, oh, oh. I'm radioactive, radioactive. I'll raise my flags, don my clothes. It's a revolution, I suppose. We're painted red to fit right in. Whoa. I'm breaking in, shaping up, then checking out on this prison bus. This is it, the apocalypse. Whoa, I'm waking up. I feel it in my bones to make my systems grow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Ooh, oh, 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 ooh, oh, oh. I'm radioactive, radioactive. Ooh, oh, 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 ooh, oh, oh. I'm radioactive, radioactive. It's been a while since I could say that I wasn't addicted, and it's been a while since I could say I love myself as well. It's been a while since I've seen the way the candles light your face. It's been a while, but I can still remember just the way you taste, and everything I can't remember. As messed up as it all may seem, I cannot blame this on my father. He did the best he could for me, yeah.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light. is on now.
All right, here we go. Live on a Monday now. Last time Lance was here, Alabama was a football school. Welcome back, Lance.
Yeah, if you would have told me that there's one team from the ACC in the Final Four and one team from the SEC that will be in Phoenix, I didn't see this coming.
Brownie?
I don't know who invented the joke, but I've heard it told enough now. Somebody is passing this one around. But I had an Auburn fan at church yesterday say, well, I'm just glad now that Saban's gone, Alabama's joined us in being a basketball school. So since you said it and I've heard it other places, the joke is going around. That's funny. I'll give them credit, but did not see this one coming either. Not going to pretend like there was a time where I saw him in the Sweet 16. That was it for me.
You know, when we did pre and post on Saturday, it's just amazing when you get to this time of year, when you have an NC State team that loses 7 of their final 9 games, when you have an Alabama team that loses 4 of their final 6 going into this tournament, and they just look at times unbeatable, especially NC State. And I know we'll get to DJ Burns and their matchup coming up with Zach Edey, but man, the way these teams are playing right now, but it might not matter because UConn, who lost their 2 best players from the national championship team last year, looks unbeatable right now.
They do. Odds not in the favor of Cinderella escaping Saturday in Glendale and being there Monday night for the national championship. But men, it's the NCAA tournament, so anything can happen. So Alabama's there for the first time ever, and we've got some video to show you. Forrester's going to show you. You pick one, Forrester. This is Nate Oats down on the court getting the announcement and the trophy. First off, week confetti game.
Oh, yeah? The Staples Center's out of confetti?
Out at the West Regional.
Yeah.
And no reason to have any there right now.
We're stocked up.
It ends up the confetti's going to come out of some Gatorade coolers in the back. The players actually throwing it.
Wow, that is cheap.
Damn, the A-10 even had a better fall down when there was 13 minutes left in the game.
Is this the Conference USA tournament or the West Regional?
Yeah. So Powerade dumps is what that was of confetti, and that was it. But then I always loved these. They let the freshman Jaron Stevenson, who had such a big game, walk around and advance Alabama out on the bracket here. How huge was he in the win over North Carolina?
Well, you know, I just,
Clemson.
Latrell Wrightsell going down obviously was a big loss for Alabama, but Grant Nelson plays his best game against North Carolina. Jaron was unbelievable against Clemson. And, you know, who's next? Who's going to be that guy that steps up possibly against UConn? I heard Seth Greenberg saying this morning, and I think I kind of alluded to this Saturday night, if UConn's going to get beat, now look, if Zach Edey shoots 22 free throws like he did yesterday, then anything can happen. But if they're going to get beat, Alabama is one of those teams that could hit 15 or 16 threes because right now 44% through the tournament through the first 4 games. This is a dangerous team when they're hot. We've said this before.
They finished the game. They were 1 of 13 at one point, Dunaway, when you were sitting there watching. I don't know if it felt 1 of 13 against Clemson for you. Did that feel 1 of 13?
Oh, yeah, because Mark Sears missed his first. They weren't all threes, but he missed his first 7 shots.
He did. 1 of 13 from beyond the arc at one point and finished 15 of 23. Now, as you were sitting there watching, did the end of the game feel 15 of 23? It's like everything they threw up went in.
Yeah, and some of them were from the logo. That's an oversized
Oh,
logo.
yeah, I talked about the Alex Dillard last 3 from Sears was just, I mean, that was balls out. I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's range is incredible. I mean, not only is he turned into such a great three-point shooter, his range is nuts.
I'll tell you what you don't want to happen, though. And Sears is undersized, but the guy is 23 points every single game, including against Clemson. You don't want people to start telling Sears and Jaron Stevenson, hey, I think you guys are going to sneak in the second round.
Yeah.
Because this Alabama team could be really, really good next year. And the same with Grant Nelson.
Just that scene there, though, guys, I'll tell you, I've done this a long time, and I said this pre-game, post-game. Thanks for letting me be out there. I appreciate everyone up here letting me be out there for that. That's a top five sports moment for me in my lifetime.
Well, you said it Saturday night. You didn't think you'd ever see Alabama in this spot. I did think, based on Nate Oats, I didn't think it would be this year. I did think they got a favorable draw, and I had them in the Sweet 16, but I didn't see them, beating North Carolina and then beating a red-hot Clemson team. But I did think that Nate Oats would sneak them into a Final Four.
At some point.
I just didn't think it was going to be now, and now you can start to say, well, damn, you look at what he's done 3 of the 4 last years, and coming off a Final Four berth, what is the future for this Alabama program?
Yeah, only bright. I can't imagine it falling off the way Nate Oats has started this thing.
I mean, where would you guys stack it, like moving forward in the SEC? I mean, Rick Barnes has obviously got a machine, but they can't do anything in the postseason.
I mean, Elite Eight and nothing to shy of.
No, it's not.
It's a good run. But
and if you're going to get officials that let Zach Eady build a house in the lane, I don't know how you're going to beat them. By the way,
you're not getting. And normally he doesn't get officiated like that. At least the games I've watched.
I mean, look, the SEC is only getting better. I think Florida's ascending. I think Tennessee, like Lance said, is a machine. I think Auburn's really good. And I think Alabama is in that group. I don't know if Kentucky is right now. I think Kentucky's got some fixing to do. They were a 3 seed, though. Let's don't pretend like, they had a terrible regular season. But I think as long as Nate Oates is the coach at Alabama, he's going to have them regularly in the contention for the regular season conference championship and going deep in the tournament.
Yeah, and landmine believer, we were built for next year, actually. 2 McDonald's All-Americans, another top 40 recruit, and a whole host of this team that can come back. There's Nate Oates arriving back at the team hotel after carrying that trophy. I think he slept with that trophy. And the team coming back and everyone enjoying the trip back to the Omni there in L.A.
Boy, if you're a Kentucky fan, though, and you look at this, and this is the guy, and I've told the story before, me and Brenner at dinner last year, SEC basketball tournament in Nashville, and we were sitting next to a father-son combo of Kentucky, and they were like, we want Nate Oates. That is the guy. We want Calipari out. And then after Calipari loses this year to Oakland, the guy's on a hot seat next year. But for Kentucky not even to be in the conversation. But if you would have asked me before this tournament, best chance Final Four for this conference, I would have gone Tennessee 1. I would have gone Kentucky 2. I would have gone Auburn 3. And I don't know where I would have put Alabama.
You'd have had him in front of Florida, right? Florida was a 7.
Yeah, I would have had him in front of Florida. But, I mean, still, just to say that out loud.
Yeah.
And I know I was part of the hype video to motivate the Alabama team.
The University of Alabama produced hype video.
But the fact of the matter is, the final 6 games going into this tournament, they had given up 97 points per game. So it wasn't like I was on an island. You guys would have agreed that the defense wasn't good enough to get them to a Final Four.
I was talking to somebody who was part of that production crew. They said, we chose between one of 6 bites we had saved from Lance.
I think I was the only one, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, that had Alabama in the Sweet 16. Did you have them in the Sweet 16?
I had them in the Sweet 16. I had them losing to North Carolina.
I had them in the Sweet 16.
Whatever I can do to motivate. Look, it's a great moment for the state.
Yes.
I saw today on AL.com, Alabama Final Four gear available now.
Yeah.
We'll probably have the dude talking about an Alabama Final Four ball on this show in the next couple of days.
Hey, and we've got our own gear. If you want to remember this moment in history, you can go to nextround.store and just celebrate your fandom like we have. Just check it out, nextround.store. And, hey, history, man. History was made, and you go and enjoy the history there for the Alabama program, nextround.store, nextround.store. We'll get to some reaction from the coach and stuff. There's that T-shirt right there. See you in Phoenix.
Oh, I didn't know we had gear.
Yeah,
I'm part of the merch committee. That looks good.
History made right there. Comes out really quickly after an event sometimes. So there you go, man. Right there. Nextround.store. I'll tell you this before we get to some reaction. I had a chance to sit right next to the Crimson Tide Sports Network radio crew. Chris Stewart had a funny call because you guys were talking about, how many shots they missed three-point line. Jaron Stevenson early in the game against Clemson shot 4 shots, and one of them was so far. I mean, it almost landed on the Clemson bench.
No, it's like it caught wind. It was one of the worst shots.
Yeah.
It's something like shot clock's going down, and you've got I don't know, freaking. Alonzo Mourning back in the day shooting a 3. I don't know, or Shaq. I mean, it looked like it caught wind.
Full court buzzer beaters sometimes are closer than
I
that
never
3.
would have shot again if I was Jaron Stevenson after that shot.
But he kept shooting. But of his first 4 shots, 2 were air balls and 2 were made threes. And Chris Stewart, after the second made 3, said, the youngster Jaron Stevenson, 2 for 4 from 3, and none of them have touched the rim yet.
He's absolutely right, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
The show today being brought to you by some great folks, including our friend Dr. B, who's got LT's hair back from the beach and back on the show and back growing again.
Yeah, Dr. B, the best in the business. Again, when we started this venture, I noticed it was thinning out a little bit. I asked around. Dr. Beckenstein is a name everyone mentioned for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316, T3hair.net for more information. I did the non-invasive treatment on the couch last night, 30 minutes, 3 times a week. That's all I'm doing right now. The hair has more than doubled in thickness. Make the phone call that I made. Schedule the consultation, 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
At what point, Dunaway, as you sat courtside, did you know Alabama was going to win that game?
I've got this history of landmining things.
I'm
around.
well aware. It's one reason I asked.
Were you about to fire out a tweet? History is made.
Dunaway was so
because I know you were trying to come up with something creative and witty to fire out.
Yeah, like
you know
a Jim Nance line.
You know what I ended up firing out?
What?
A basketball emoji, and then a GIF of Michael Scott happily crying, and that was all I said. That was all I said.
Did you get tears?
Words were not needed.
Words were not needed.
I was working, but I was emotional in the final few seconds when it looked like it was going to happen, and then I was emotional watching the kids cut down the net. You don't go sound up on the video, but you may hear some sniffles behind my iPhone there.
Well, what about?
Because I didn't think it would ever happen in my lifetime, and I know you say you, and I believe Nate Oats is a great coach too, but it is so hard to get to the Final Four. And I was going over with Taylor, in my lifetime, 1976, what I think it was the best team in Alabama history with Leon Douglas and that crew against Indiana. That's who they had to face in the Sweet 16. Indiana did not lose to anybody.
Yeah, maybe the best team in college basketball history. Some would argue. Yeah.
Did a tear fall on my eye right here?
Yeah, I noticed it on your face, like a little tear on
I
your
didn't
face.
know it was coming out.
Emotional moment. Yeah.
A couple of Wimps team. I was telling Taylor doesn't even know who Hank Gathers is. I said this guy died on the court, and who did Alabama have to face in the Sweet 16? That team who was playing for Hank Gathers, and Alabama did a great job defensively against them, but still lost.
Yep.
But without Hank Gathers, they weren't going to die. I know they caught fire, and Jeff Fry and Bo Kimball were unbelievable.
They were playing with a mission, man. That was a tough
they
team
were,
to
but
run into.
Alabama was not going to make the Final Four. There was no chance of them making the Final Four.
Yeah, but if one of the
But that was
big
the Sweet 16. They'd have been 40 minutes away if they'd have won that game.
yeah,
against UNLV, who beat that loyalty by 40.
You tell me right now, if Purdue
You play the games.
Jim,
If you
zero
play the
chance.
games.
If Klingon or Edey gets hit by a bus today, neither one of those teams are winning the championship.
Yeah. But I'm
they can
just-
play for them all they want.
I'm just talking about, getting past the Sweet
Right,
16.
right.
Maybe Wimp's best team runs into Billy Donovan in a hot shooting night in Louisville from three-point land, the newly designed three-point line that had come out. I mean, Alabama's run into some walls.
Yeah, but last year, that was a Final Four team. They had the path.
And what did they have going on? All that off-the-field stuff. It was a weight of the world
They
on
did,
them.
but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think
It's so hard to get there.
Nate's going to, I did not see it this year, but Nate's going to have him in a situation. What about, so you've been hanging out with the broadcast crew, Chris, Brian, Tom, any of those guys shed tears?
Oh, yes, 100%.
Well, I'm sure Passing did. I mean, Passing he spilled some blood for this
Yeah,
program.
I mean, I'm sure
Former
probably
player.
Tom and Chris. I mean, traveling all around.
Yeah.
I mean, how many games have they been on the call for? And
They've seen some bad basketball.
And, they fell in love with this program a long time ago. And to see them get to this moment, to me, a Final Four is like getting to a Super Bowl. Whether you close the deal or not, it's one of those things that it is immortalized and you'll never forget.
Yeah, 22 years, I think Chris and Passing have been doing the Alabama radio together. 22 years already. They still seem like a young broadcasting crew, but 22 years. And they've been together a long, long time. I can't stop it from crying now.
Is it allergies, Jim, or are you
No,
really
no,
that
it's
emotional?
Allergies will wear me out.
Are they really? Are you going to cry too?
Yeah.
I am not going to cry.
Yeah. Dunaway is.
If I had Alabama to win that region at like 15-1, I would.
It just, and I know this is the most arrogant thing you could possibly say as a sports fan, right?
Okay.
But there have been so many football championships in my lifetime.
yeah.
But you watch the NCAA tournament, it's one of the great sporting events, and your team has never made it to the Final Four. And whatever happens in Phoenix happens in Phoenix. I feel like you. Man, you're sitting there watching that the other night, and you just sit there and you just like, This is unreal. This is happening for Alabama. This is unreal that it's finally happening.
I think this is the year. You know, you lose to UConn, even if you lose by 30, you're probably disappointed right after the game. You look back and you're like, what an incredible year. Now, moving forward after this year, it's about what you can do once you get to the Final Four. But this year, you were playing with house money.
Can I tell you when I thought Alabama was going to win this game? The moment I thought Alabama was going to the Final Four. And the reason I asked you was I was curious if this jumped out at you as well. And when I give you the score, you're going to say, how are you this confident, Brown? But it was the 7:47 mark, and it was 59-53 Alabama. Okay, Bama up 6. They come down the floor. Gerard makes the 3 to cut it 2-3.
Oh, speaking of getting into a zone, by the way.
Yeah, I kick and shoot. Riley Griffin, though, did a tremendous job defensively on him down the stretch. So Gerard makes the 3 to cut it to 3. Griffin comes back and makes a 3 10 seconds later. It takes 10 seconds for Alabama to respond to push the lead back out to 6. Gerard comes back down, makes another 3 to cut it back to 3, 62-59. Stevenson comes back and makes another 3 to make it 65-59.
And an unreal pass from Mark Sears to get it to him in the corner.
Yep. And then the chef misses the 3. And I'm like, Alabama has baited them into their game now because now you got one of your big guys out there firing away. It's just 3 after 3, and then that's when Sears came back down and made it another 3, 68-59, Lance, and I'm like, Bama's got the lead, and they have now baited Clemson into their game. Clemson dictated the game in the first half, and Bama baited them back in.
Yeah, I see what your point is there, but I did not see it until Gerard hit the 3 to cut it to 3 under 2 minutes. And then when Pringle goes right back and gets the and one and then hits the free throw, that's when I could feel that Alabama was going to move on.
Yeah, we'll talk about all this as we continue on. But my way to wellness observation of the day, Scheffner. I mean, honest to goodness, if you've never seen anybody play a basketball game and we're just on the playground, I leaned over to Rosie Langello from WSFA and I said, Rosie, seriously, if we're on the playground right now, that Scheffner kid would be the last guy picked in a basketball game.
Schefflin.
And the dude is so athletic for his size. He looks like a guy that would have worn the tough skins or the husky jeans.
Well, he wears a medium shirt, though.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still kind of thick, but man, he could jump out of the gym, and he is a really, really good player.
He is, but book by cover.
Oh, yeah.
If we'd never seen anybody pick up a basketball and we just all went out there and were picking teams in the playground, we'd have been like, I'm not that kid.
I ain't taking big Rory McIlroy.
The last guy would be like, Chunky Rory.
Chunky McIlroy. I guess I'll take him.
Hey, the show brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness. Not that anybody needs it in a Clemson jersey, but Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Leslie, her board-certified team can help you right now. Just jump in and get details by going to their website, aplanforme.com. There you can find out without any out-of-pocket money just what Way to Wellness is all about. And do what the team is doing on this video right here. Schedule a free, no-cost consultation with Leslie and the team. There's no contract. There's no sign-up fee. And the first consultation is absolutely free. It's aplanforme.com. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. And also by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision LT. If you'll tell us about Michelson, and then we'll get some reaction from the Alabama locker room.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made over 2 decades ago. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Seems like everything's going up in price. Not for LASIK at Michelson Laser Vision. They have held the cost of LASIK steady at the pre-inflation pricing from 2 years ago. Call 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They are going to hook you up with an absolutely free consultation. You have nothing to lose to find out if a LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Nate Oats in the podium after with a net around the. That's always the greatest shot, right? Whether it's a player or a coach with a net around the neck. Here's the Alabama coach about going to the Final Four.
Given your journey, what does this mean to you at this point?
I mean, it's surreal. You go back 11 years ago, and I won a state championship at Romulus High back in Detroit area. So it hasn't been that long. And, Bobby Hurley gives me a chance. And obviously the Hurley family's got a lot of respect for high school coaches. Their dad's a Hall of Fame coach. And, I've caught a few breaks, and it's ironic I get to coach against Danny. I don't know if "get's" the correct word because they got a pretty good team. But when I was a kid, big basketball fan. I used to, gonna date myself a little bit. You had the VHS tapes, so every time I had every one of the shining moments labeled on a VHS tape, so I could go back and watch that thing all summer. Then you start to grow up in the coaching profession and you just want to be at the Final Four, be in the hotel lobby so I can see the big name coaches that are there, and somehow I caught enough breaks. I'm coaching in one, which is unreal. I mean, give hope to a lot of high school coaches tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, and 3 of the coaches that are in the Final Four are former high school basketball coaches. The guy from NC State, Hurley from UConn, and Nate Oats. Pretty crazy that they all coached in high school. It's just it's not that long ago. He was, as he told us one of the first times he's ever on the show, he was selling candy bars as a fundraiser for his high school basketball team's uniforms and trips like that. 11 years later, he's won a couple of SEC regular season, a couple of SEC tournament, and now a West Regional. That's a long way from selling those great candy bars that are in chunks with the slithers of almond in them that you charge the students $1 a pop.
Those things are actually pretty underrated. But just an incredible job out of him. You know, Matt Painter had so much pressure on him coming into this tournament. He gets Purdue to a Final Four. Dan Hurley, like him or hate him, is obviously one of the best coaches in college basketball. But Kevin Keatts, again, 9 elimination games they've won. If he loses any of those games in the ACC tournament or first round against Texas Tech, well, I guess he couldn't because he had the 2-year extension, that guy wouldn't have been the coach at NC State.
Yeah.
And now he's coming up Final Four. This reminds me of Frank Martin in South Carolina, though.
A little bit, yeah. It's got the Dennis Felton vibes getting into the tournament, but then to make the run feels more like Frank Martin.
Who shortly afterwards, 3 years later, 4 years later, he was out.
Yeah, they gave him some more time, but they extended the contract to Lance's point, and they kind of got in that contract they couldn't buy out anymore. It was actually pretty cool to see Nate Oats kind of process that in real time, that he was in the Final Four. I mean, I knew he was, but you saw it. I mean, you shake hands, you celebrate, you cut down nets. It's nonstop. It's nonstop, photos and locker room celebration, and that felt like the first moment he just had to sit down and exhale and say, oh, my gosh, I'm in the Final Four.
Yeah, and then there's Nick Pringle. I can tell you, from people that work at the University of Alabama to fans, the question I got asked the most when I was out, and just luckily I was staying at the team hotel.
Okay.
Coincidence, it ends up being at the team hotel where I was lodged. So I'm walking around, and fans who are there, who are pretty high up boosters, would ask, did you guys know that Pringle was on that flight to Spokane when you put little T on that flight? And I was like, what? No, it was just coincidence.
What kind of operation do you think we were on?
And they would look at me, they would like, it was coincidence that little T was on that flight. You guys got tipped on that Pringle was going to be on that flight, and you put little T on that flight. And I was like, total coincidence.
And by the way, it was a connector to Spokane. I don't think those are those are easy to get. I mean, those generally probably go through Denver.
Yeah, did little T come from Birmingham or Atlanta?
Birmingham.
Yeah. To Denver.
Okay.
Yeah. Denver to Spokane. Brown is our postseason flight.
I was just going to say, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised based on where Pringle was in the doghouse. They made him go to Atlanta.
Could have.
To Denver.
I don't know.
Yeah, that is one route. But and this is the picture that everyone was talking about. They were like, at first I thought it was a spoof, and then I saw the shoes, and I was like, I knew it wasn't the shoes. But yeah, that was a little T on the way to Spokane, and it was a coincidence. I'm not lying to you guys in the lobby or the bar at the hotel. It was a coincidence that Taylor was on there with that iconic shot. If they're in the Final Four, and if they were putting a photo album out like Sports Illustrated used to do in the 80s,
right,
that would be one of the iconic shots.
Do we have a story for you? Yeah.
Well, we don't know how much.
What if I told you one of your big players in the tournament didn't even fly with the
commercial.
team?
Without his 16 and 11, they don't beat Clemson.
They don't beat,
absolutely
They
not.
don't beat North Carolina the way he played Baycott, and they don't beat Clemson.
And he drew 13 fouls.
Yeah.
I mean, P.J. Hall fouled out because, in large part, of Nick Pringle.
And that was massive.
Oh, it was huge.
And
huge turning point.
And he was a walking soundbite. And I believed this before the tournament. I told his family this at senior day. He's one of my favorite players on the team because I don't know if you guys, if you've been with us 14 years, you guys know I'm a little bit of a head case. I get a little
bit.
I ride on an emotional roller coaster.
Sure.
My man Nick Pringle rides a roller coaster as well emotionally. After the North Carolina win, he and I sit there and talked about crying, how he was crying after the game. And then after the Clemson win, he would not give up the trophy. Here's Nick Pringle afterwards not giving up the trophy.
I really couldn't even react for real. Like, I was just looking like, bro, am I dreaming? Like, I mean, just seeing the buzzer go off, I mean, it was amazing, man. Like, words can't explain how I feel right now. Like, just still holding this, like, this don't even feel real. Like, I mean, it's tough, but job's not finished yet. I mean, we still got 2 more to go. I mean, one game at a time. Going to carry and build off of this game and, make the most out of it.
Yeah, pretty emotional there with Nick Pringle in the locker room as he holds that trophy. We'll get to more reaction. We'll start breaking down the games. Stallions got to win. The rest of the Final Four is set. Auburn softball beat a powerhouse yesterday. Some NFL news to get to, some college football news to get to. A-Day this week down at Auburn. We'll be in Auburn tomorrow with our show. We're looking forward to that. More on that coming up. But we will celebrate Alabama being in the Final Four for the first time ever. Richard Hendricks starts hour number 2, and Antoine Pettway is with us in hour number 2 as well. That starts at 10 Central for hour number 2. But sit back and go along on the ride with us. Show being brought to you by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City. 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, or a free no-cost roof inspection. Locally owned for over 20 years, Greg and his wife own the company. It's a free no-cost roof inspection. He'll take care of storm damage, also replace a roof, and anything you need on your roof. Check him out on Facebook, Greg from Pell City, or Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531. We're back in a moment.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Cool Ray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Get ready to level up your fandom with the Autograph app. Co-founded by the legendary Tom Brady himself, this app is your one-stop shop for everything college sports. Access to all the best sports content, exciting fan challenges, and exclusive rewards. Think crazy discounts on tickets, limited edition merch, and much more. Just look at this. Autograph hooked up 6 lucky fans with tickets to the Arkansas-Alabama game for just $16 a ticket. That's what they call true fan pricing. Ready to join the party? Download the free Autograph app today and use the code TNR for exclusive access.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Back with you on the Next Round. NextRound.store for all the gear. Also, if you want to celebrate a little history over the weekend. Some college football coming up in just a second. But I do want to point out on this Final Four, Alabama's first one ever. First time for Purdue since 1980, if you just want to know how tough it is to get there.
Yeah.
The old Gene Katie days. And Gene Katie, I didn't know. If you would have said living or dead, I would have leaned dead. But he was in the stands at 87 years old.
Hey, seriously, I'd have gone dead too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were flying. You didn't get to see the game.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of Matt Painter's wife and Gene Katie. And also, well, I mean, and that's a good program. I mean, let's don't pretend like Purdue's not a good basketball program.
How many one seeds have they had?
Well, I watched, they had a clip of the 94 Glenn Robinson team with Quanzo Martin.
Yeah,
and they were the number 1 overall seed, and they lost in the Sweet 16. I mean, that was a legit team. They've had a lot of really good teams. They were 1 seed last year.
So Alabama's first, Purdue's first since 1980, NC State's first one since 1983. They haven't been to the Final Four since the Jim Valvano win.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
But that's a 2-time national championship program.
Yeah, 70
something like 74.
74.
Yeah. It's just a great, I remember that only from the Sports Illustrated cover.
Well, you think about in 83, they beat, I think, Wake by a point in the ACC tournament. They wouldn't have gotten in. And then once they get in, they beat the juggernaut, which was Houston.
So Alabama's first, Purdue's first since 80, NC State's first since 83, UConn 7th since 1999.
Yeah, wow.
One thing is not like the other here.
I know. You're absolutely right. There's one team that's comfortable being there and a lot of teams that are probably going to have their hits. I think, it was Kenny Smith that was talking about that after the games last night. I guess it was between the games, actually. It was after the Purdue game. And he was like, the problem will be teams like Alabama and NC State that, get their – he goes, I remember when I played in my first NBA Finals. He said, I was fine until we got to the NBA Finals. And he goes, then all this national media shows up, people that I hadn't seen all year. It wasn't our local media. It was all these national people. And he goes, I was a little bit overwhelmed. I got to be honest with you. I was a little bit overwhelmed with it all.
Yeah.
That was Kenny Smith. I mean, that guy had played at North Carolina and was overwhelmed by it.
That was what kind of scared me for Alabama. After they won against North Carolina, it seemed like they had won a Final Four game or an Elite Eight game to get to a Final Four. That was the celebration. But the same was Clemson, so it kind of balanced out there. NC State, I didn't really give them a shot yesterday against Duke. I just didn't see it.
I didn't either.
Me either.
But I keep thinking that their gas was going to run out, and it never has.
Yeah, and they just played such good defense against that Duke squad. More on that, more on some college football after I tell you that Talladega, we're getting closer and closer. Great win yesterday for Denny Hamlin at Richmond, or over the weekend at Richmond. You will be part of history. Somebody will punch a ticket and be remembered forever at Talladega coming up April 19th through the 21st. But it's always about a good time for the fans at Talladega. We had a chance to get out there recently and just explore some of the fan options that you get, whether you want to sit in the great grandstands and see the action on the Tri-Oval or climb the high banks and get up there and enjoy the big turns and be on the infield. You can be there, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, or 877-GO-TO-DEGA to end up and get your tickets there for that weekend. And your Sunday Geico 500 ticket will get you in to see Walker Hayes in that beautiful infield. Somebody will go to Victory Lane right there and drink a nice ice-cold Coca-Cola and celebrate there. There you go. It's the Geico 500 weekend, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, 877-GO-TO-DEGA. About those games, those other games other than Alabama, they get UConn, of course. And UConn, in this tournament, has beaten everybody by double digits. In fact, they have an NCAA record. They have won 10 straight NCAA tournament games by double digits now. That's insane.
I think all by at least 13, right? I know you keep saying double digits, which that is, obviously, but 13, I think, is the mark where they won their last 10 consecutive NCAA tournaments.
Well, here are their margins of victory, 39, 17, 30, and 25. They've led every one of these games by 30-plus points. They are holding their four opponents through four games to 53.5 points per game.
Right.
That is unbelievable defense. And I didn't say it for a fact, and because we had this bracket challenge on the line in the Elite Eight game. I thought Terrence Shannon and Domask and those guys for Illinois could keep this thing close.
And it was for a second. I'm at a restaurant, LT.
It was 23-23, and then they went on a 30-0 run.
UConn Dunaway played as bad a half as they could play, and Illinois was still down 5 at the half.
I know, but it was 23-23 when I walked out, I think, to join our pregame. No, that was before the show. Where did I go? I went somewhere.
I can't help you there.
I had to go over with the team arriving. So I left the table, and it was 23-23. And by the time I shot Alabama arriving and sent that out and all of that, I looked back at the score, and they were on a 23-0 run. It ended up being a 30-0 run. That's insane.
Oh, look, and I had Illinois plus 8.5, and at 23-23, I thought they had missed some shots. Like, they were scared to death of Klingon, and you should be the way he's playing right now. I mean, you're talking about one of the most improved players. He was good last year, but where he is right now, the way he's playing, you got some dominant bigs, too. When you start to look at Edey, DJ Burns, the way he's playing, the way Donovan Klingon is playing, and, you know, Nick Pringle's playing good. He's not playing at the level those guys are playing, but this is just a weird tournament.
Landmine Believer says UConn played bad in both games this weekend, and it did not matter. They definitely played bad against Illinois. That first half, they were awful.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to nobody in particular, they played awful, and they were still up 5 at the half. What was it, 28-23?
Yeah, I don't know if they
half?
played bad against San Diego State. San Diego State and Brian Dutcher, they make games look ugly.
They won that game by 30.
And they still won that game by 30.
Yes.
So, I don't know. That's your national runner-up. But, again, This is a UConn team, and I saw somebody in the chat room saying they're beatable. Well, yeah, they're beatable, but the way they're playing with confidence right now, the way they're defending, and, look, I know there is no Sinago and there is no Jordan Hawkins who are on to the NBA now. And I think they lost like 34-17 between those two guys, and they haven't missed a beat.
Brad, can you pull up the UConn game from last year when Alabama and UConn played? Didn't they play last year in the regular season pre-conference? I'm pretty sure they did. And so a lot of these players are back. I think so. I think I'm right about this.
I can tell you right now, I've got it. I was on Alabama already.
It wasn't this year.
Pre-conference, yeah. No.
Yeah, I got it right here. 82-67 was the final, Friday, November 26th. What do you want to know from the game?
I was just remembering that I was right that they played.
Okay.
And it was neutral site, I believe, right?
By the way, UConn was number 20 in the nation then.
That's right.
And it's changed a little bit since then.
It was up in Portland.
And that jump-started the run. It was in that Nike event.
Yep. Alabama 6 of 16 from beyond the arc is probably what you're looking for there. 6 of 16 from beyond the arc for the Crimson Tide.
And nobody knows the Hurleys better than Nate Oats. He's like, I was joking with Forrester, he's like a pseudo Hurley brother, right?
He's like Jimbo Fisher was to the Bowdens.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So he's going to know the schemes, and Hurley's going to know the way Nate likes to play. I mean, this will be schemed up perfectly from both sides. It's whether or not Alabama can get off enough threes and make enough threes. They'll have to have a great shooting night.
You know, it's crazy. Klingon in that game only played 11 minutes. Wasn't a starter. 4 points. Boy, things have changed.
Yeah, they have.
And your only Alabama starter that's starting this year, still with the team, is Mark Sears.
So I know that's what's crazy. It's a completely
But, you know,
different
like
roster.
NC State's, their top 7 producers are all transfers. So these roster flips and what it can translate to is pretty incredible.
I looked at I tried to look at their losses and see if you could find any commonality in their losses, and it's really hard. Like the first one they lost at Kansas, 69-65. Well, you know, the problem there was they're playing at Kansas. Kansas does not lose at Allen Fieldhouse, and that was a true road game at Allen Fieldhouse. Kansas, 9 of 14 from beyond the arc. I think if I told you Bama's 9 of 14 from beyond the arc, you don't think they got any shot against you, right?
Why do we only shoot 14?
Yeah,
Nate Oats would be saying.
It's 100% the question. Hunter Dickinson, you would think, well, maybe he went off. He had 15 points, but he was also playing with 4 fouls, so he didn't. He played 38 minutes in that game. Klingon had 8 points. So then you look, all right, well, they've got 2 more losses. See if you can find some commonality there. I'm going to blow your mind on this one. Seton Hall, 75-60. They lost by 15 to Seton Hall.
A team that didn't even get into the postseason.
Yeah, that's what some people are saying in the chat, guys. They're saying occasionally UConn has laid an egg.
Well, I mean, not occasionally is probably the right word, because I've given you 2, and I'm almost out of their losses, by the way.
That's right.
But Seton Hall, that was a true road game again, okay? Another road game. Seton Hall, 3 of 8 from beyond the arc. 3 of 8. They tried 8 3-pointers from beyond the arc. But they went with a small lineup. They had a 4-guard lineup, and maybe that's what Alabama, especially if Reitzel is back, would like to do.
Well, you're going to find it against Creighton.
And that was the thing. Creighton had the blueprint, right, that Alabama would need. 85-66, again, true road game at Creighton. They played in Omaha. But that was the game where a team finally hit some threes on them. And it was 14, which, Alabama hit more than that the other night. 14 of 28, 50% from beyond the arc. I mean, that is a path to victory.
That's the path to victory, Brownie, exactly. We'll get to the darling of this tournament right after LT tells us about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap, one of those unbelievable sponsors we've had for so long. C-Stu, does he ever do a bracket? I never hear anything about C-Stu's bracket.
I don't know if he did a bracket or not. I had a good conversation with our friend C-Stu yesterday. Basketball has its madness in March, but homeowners who clean their gutters have it all year long. Eliminate your gutter cleaning madness forever with Gutter Cap. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau for 2 decades, on the board of directors as well. Gutter Cap, patent aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutter. Eliminate that dangerous job of getting on a ladder and cleaning out your gutters. 45% off the retail price now. Call C-Stu, 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com. Cap it, don't snap it. It is Gutter Cap.
And let's get a look at the Final Four lines from our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Brown, tell us about MyBookie and give us a line update from our friends there.
It's a weird-looking Final Four when you look at these first 2 point spreads. MyBookie.ag is where you can play all of these. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, who in the early game has Purdue a 9.5-point favorite over NC State and a total of 146. In the late game, 7:49 tip time for Alabama. The UConn Huskies a 12-point favorite and a total of 161.5 there in MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round. That is MyBookie.ag. That code next round gets you that sign-on bonus. Win once, it is yours and yours forever. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Lance could probably remember this better than me. I'm having a hard time remembering a Final Four where the Saturday games were both almost, one is double digits and the other one is knocking on the door at double digits. You just don't see that an awful lot.
I think if you would have, well, no, not with San Diego State. I was going to say, Florida Atlantic is on the other side of the bracket last year, definitely double digits, but no. And it looks like
rare.
The money is coming in on the dogs.
Oh, really?
But, you're getting double digits. I know it's UConn, but if you look at NC State getting double digits against Purdue, it looks like a little value.
Yeah, one of the things that I would ask, though, okay, for the first time, and Mark Sears just laughed when I said, are you ready to shoot threes in a football stadium? And it dawned on him what I was asking at that point after the win. He just laughed. He was like, we'll have to see. And because it's going to be a different feel for a shooter, right? For all the Alabama
terrible venue, by the way.
Yeah,
it is.
No, it is an awful venue, but it is a venue.
At least we're not playing it on their slick ass grass.
That's true. That's a good point. But it is a shooting venue Alabama's not had all year,
and none of these guys have.
Nope.
No, cannot think of Alabama ever playing in a dome,
like a football stadium.
Yeah.
No, I can't either.
All the way back to the Georgia Dome SEC tournament.
Yeah, the
SEC
Georgia
tournament.
that was it.
Yeah, but when's the last time we've done that? None of these kids have. Right?
Eons ago.
Yeah. So it's going to be a weird thing. The darling of the tournament, though, is NC State and their big guy, DJ Burns. And the guy, his footwork, all of a sudden, he's a ballerina, they call him.
Well, I said yesterday, if you put Mark Mangino on a seesaw and you put DJ Burns on the other side, what happens? And then I looked, and they list DJ Burns at 275 pounds.
Zero chance.
Zero chance. Yeah. I think more like 375 at 6'9". But the footwork, the touch, his ability to pass on the block. I heard it was one of his opponents said that we were facing a lefty Nikola Jokic.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's a pretty big compliment.
Yeah. Jokic tweeted after the game yesterday saying I was amazed watching him play, gave him the ultimate compliment.
You look at the guy and you look at some of the dud games he had coming into this tournament. He is possessed right now.
It's hard to watch him and not think Edie's got some issues with this guy because this guy moves better than Edie does. And I know Edie's got a good 3 inches on him.
Yeah, I think
the wingspan.
I think Burns, this will be the key. And Purdue, if you would have told me that Connect goes for 37 and Purdue hits three-pointers, who led the nation in field goal percentage behind the arc, I would have said that Tennessee wins that game. But the key is going to be with DJ Burns, how athletic he can be on the block. If he can get Edie into foul trouble. Edie was able to play 39 minutes yesterday.
But the foul discrepancy, Tennessee fans won't say it. I'll say it for them.
No, they will say it.
I've seen some Tennessee fans say it.
25-12 in fouls.
Yeah.
And if you don't get a guy like Edie officiated one way, it's game over because they can do things that no other human can do at 7'4".
But I do not want to sound like the old man yelling at the clouds. But when is the last time you've seen 3 seconds in the lane called in college basketball?
I did see it this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, because I was explaining the rules of basketball.
Yeah, I'll tell you where you didn't see it.
Well, Shaq had it in the Home Depot commercial. and then there was, and I'm trying to remember the game, And I think it might have been NC State Duke yesterday, but there was a 3-second. But you don't see it a lot.
You don't see it a lot. And, I mean, if they let Edey camp in the lane like that, it's going to be hard to stop him no matter who's playing him.
Yeah, the challenge will be to the coaches to make them aware of that right off the bat, saying you got to watch him in the lane. You got to watch him in the lane. And I'd have the whole bench counting.
4,
1,
5,
2, 3.
And,
just to get in Edey's head, maybe that he starts moving around.
I don't think Burns is going to be intimidated. I guess you don't know how big Edey is until you see him in close up in real life, and then you're like, holy heck, this guy is massive. But Burns, in these 9 elimination games, going back to the 5 in the ACC and the 4 in the NCAA, he's shooting 65% from the field.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. Our friends at Odie's always good as well. They hosted us some countdown to March Madness, and it's a great place to go and finish up this Final Four weekend at Odie's.
I was at the beach with the family this past week, so I missed Wednesday night. What was the question, Brown?
Oh, Rockstar, you had the question. It was just me and Rockstar. It was a 2-man show. What was the question, Rocky?
Who's older, John Cena or Fergie?
Because of the question, I am going to say Fergie. I haven't seen Fergie in a while. I would say that Cena is 42 and Fergie's 44.
Cena 1977, Fergie 1975. So Fergie is older. It was her birthday last Wednesday.
There you go. The things you learn at Odie's Team Trivia. We do that every Wednesday night at the original location in Crestline, the newest location in Homewood. Stop in, get the incredible food from Rodney Davis. He's been doing it for more than 3 decades. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers. My personal favorite, the Diablo sandwich. Get in, see Will Haver at either location. Enjoy ice-cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. It's Odie's Tavern.
Richard Hendricks joins the show at the top of the hour, and then Antoine Pettway is on the show today. He joins us at 10:25, so back-to-back guests at the top of the hour. One football note as we go to break here. Big recruit for Ole Miss over the weekend. 4-star running back Akeland Deere picks Ole Miss over Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State. He's a top recruit out of the state of Mississippi. Lane Kiffin keeping him at home right now. We're just 145 days from college football, week 0, but we're basketball crazy right now. We'll keep that rolling on. Show being brought to you by our friends at Legacy as well. The Swap and Drop program is back. SwapandDrop.com. You take your loan, car loan, truck loan, boat loan, ATV loan, whatever kind of loan you want to do it, and swap it over to Legacy right now from your financial institution. You'll get a great rate. To get details, go to swapanddrop.com, swapanddrop.com. Shoot that QR code right there and take advantage of this great opportunity for a short period only, but it happens this time of year every year. Swapanddrop.com. Go to legacycreditunion.com or one of the 9 area branches to learn more about engaged checking and other ways Legacy can help you financially. But swapanddrop.com gets you going with our friends at Legacy.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
The Next Round Golf Card is here. It's your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $99. Get 18 holes plus a cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club, presented by the Urology Centers of Alabama. That's a value of $247 for just $99. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Card for $119. That gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The card is good through October of 2024. Supplies are limited, so get your golf card now at nextround.store.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
The Next Round golf card is here. It's your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just 99 bucks. Get 18 holes plus a cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, the Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club, presented by the Urology Centers of Alabama. That's a value of $247 for just 99 bucks. Or get the Next Round Deluxe golf card for $119. That gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The card is good through October of 2024. Supplies are limited, so get your golf card now at nextround.store.
Hemphill's best and worst of the weekend. You know my best, and I'm trying to think other than
it can't be a worst.
Other than the weather in L.A., I cannot think of the worst. Even my flights were good.
Most Dunaway thing ever is he says, I've been in L.A., 12 days now, and it's rained 6 of the 12. L.A. doesn't get rain.
That's impossible.
They don't get 6 days of rain a year.
12 days in this calendar year with our trip for Alabama and Michigan, and then the Elite Eight.
I would have said better chance of San Andreas Fault, like it breaking off and going into the Pacific.
Yeah.
It's 6 days out of 12 of
rain.
rain.
The only thing I didn't see while I was out there. The folks from Pepperdine did an okay job managing the thing at Crypto.
Just okay.
Were they the home team?
They were.
Yeah, because I saw a lot of Pepperdine gear, and I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, they were the ones that were hosting. I believe when we get to the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 after experiencing that this weekend, I think the conferences should handle that. But then someone pointed out to me, Jim, we're in a place they don't have a conference anymore.
Right.
It would be the Big Ten hosting.
Yes, yes.
You know what's crazy is Crypto, formerly Staples, is 25 years old? Because I went one of the first years, yeah.
Dunaway underwhelmed. He added it.
Loved it.
You did like it, really?
One of my favorite arenas of all time now.
Not initially. Like the first day before Bama had beaten North Carolina, one of Dunaway's first hits. Got to say, add it to the list, Rockstar. Crypto.com Arena, a little bit overrated.
Staples was better, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit overrated. I don't really like it. And then, of course, Bama beats North Carolina, and he loves it then.
Yeah, it was my running joke. I love this arena now, but it was really, really thin on the inside. The bowels where I was having to do a lot of my work compared to Bridgestone, where Taylor and I had all the space up in
it's
Nashville.
so much better in Bridgestone.
Okay, but then we get to the arena, and when it's empty, it just felt like the seats were so far away from the court. I even asked passing, I said, does this feel like shooting in a dome? And the upper decks, they are in heaven. The upper decks.
Well, you think about that, it's obviously the second largest city in America.
Right.
That is their biggest product is the Lakers.
So a lot of skyboxes.
Yeah.
A lot of boxes, which is where you make your money, right? Is in those boxes.
Well, you think about it, right? Tickets just down low for Lakers games probably start at $500 and go all the way to $20,000 a ticket if you're sitting on the floor.
But then, as I joked with Brownie in the post game after the North Carolina win, when it's full,
gotta like that
really
place.
A great venue. So it worked out really good, and a cool little location down there with the ESPN thing and all the bars and restaurants.
Well,
they
Alabama
blocked the streets off.
Will probably never play in Crypto again. And so that will go down on one of those venues that will be close to Alabama fans' hearts.
Undefeated in Crypto.
Yeah, and it meant a lot to the players. They went to a Clippers game when they first got to town from Spokane, and just they all took their picture in front of Kobe's picture on the wall and out by the statues, and they were a
lot of great memories in Staples.
Yeah, so it was very important to them, and as James says, Robert Ory came to both games.
Good job, Bob. Yeah.
Mark Godfrey was at both games. Bryce Young was at the games. A lot of Bama folks who were in the area came and hung out with the Tide there. Show being brought to you by our friends at Hempill. Best and worst of the weekend, LT.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys. Call them today. Tell them the Next Round sent you. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues, in your home or business. They are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. Call them today, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Charles is an Alabama fan. His best of the weekend, of course, Alabama. His worst of the weekend, even as an Alabama fan, the officiating in the Tennessee-Purdue game, the Vols got ripped. Rick Barnes did say after the game he never leaves the paint. It's just hard to defend him. I mean, that's as close as you're going to get to saying the officials needed to call 3 seconds without saying it.
I don't understand Rick Barnes in their ear as a veteran coach that's respected. If you're like, this dude is the biggest thing in the entire building, all you've got to do is count 3 seconds.
Yeah,
like how you don't get 1 or 2 calls.
If you're Barnes, you're like, I'll even give you 5. Just count 5 seconds. Y'all don't have to call 3 seconds in the lane. If you'll give until 5, I'll be happy.
That's right.
After 5, if you'll call 3 seconds, I'll never say another word on this sideline.
Well, you know who's going to get the benefit of this is NC State.
Yeah,
because it's going to be talked about it all week long.
That's a great point. And Burns is a popular guy as far as the national fan base and the media will fall in love with this guy all week long. So they'll be talking about the matchup, and every analyst will be pointing it out. It's exactly right, LT.
But I will say this, too, on Connect, and he scored all those points, but he kind of went cold at the end because Tennessee couldn't scheme any open looks. And part of that, too, is in my limited basketball knowledge, nobody on Tennessee wants to drive the paint, so they're able to extend that defense. And it was hard for them to get Connect good open looks, even as well as he played. He just couldn't get open looks at the end.
I know Zakai Ziegler, a lot of people, he's got a ton of experience. I've never been a huge fan, and he kind of shot him out of that game.
A little bit.
Yeah. I think with a guy like Edey, you just got to run it at him and force the official to make calls. Early in the game, you got to let him take some whacks at blocking your shot and just run it at him. Don't try to play around.
Yeah, it's almost like you want to get one of your guys off the bench that is really good driving to the rim and just take some shots if he blocks the shot. But, if you have a couple of charge calls, it's one of your guys that, is a scorer off the bench, but try to get him in early foul trouble. You get him off the court, they're going to have serious problems.
That's right. Robert's best, Bama, of course. His worst, Astros cost him a 10-team Major League Baseball parlay for $1,750. Astros got swept by the Yanks.
Yeah, undefeated. Yeah. Or defeated, I should say.
Yeah, 0-4 and 4-0 Yankees there. Richard Hendricks at the top of the hour. The final few minutes of this segment being brought to you by our friends at Coca-Cola Spice. The taste of spring and summer in 2024 from our friends at Coca-Cola is great Coca-Cola Classic with spice flavors and a hint of raspberry that just makes you go, tastes like summer. Give it a try right now from your local retailers, our friends Coca-Cola Spiced right there. We're getting ready for the Final Four weekend coming up in Phoenix, and with the matchups that are set. Also tonight, women's games. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, LSU and Iowa rematch of the 9.9 million viewed national championship game last year. They play, and then UConn and USC, the number 1 seed there, not UConn. That's a pretty sweet women's basketball matchup, about as good as you can get in the NCAA tournament of name brands tonight.
Well, you can check mybookie.ag, but I think both of these games are right around 2.5 to 1.5 point favorites. So they should be really competitive based on that.
Yeah. You'll have to give me a moment to pull
that
up.
Fine.
I have that pulled up.
I think I was a 1.5 point favorite. Actually, I think USC's a 1.5 point favorite. So these aren't typically top-heavy women's games where you got double-digit favorites.
A lot of star power going on there. And congratulations to the Stallions in what I thought was a successful UFL opening weekend. The only problem was it was against the NCAA tournament in a lot of situations. But love the Stallions win in Arlington, giving the USFL champions a win over the XFL champions as they merged there. The home game coming to Protective in Week 3. Can't wait for that. Can't wait to talk to Richard Hendricks when we come back on the show. That's being brought to you by Charles Did you see Charles Barkley and Bruce Pearl yelling Roll Tide?
I did.
Yeah. Redmont Vodka is Charles's vodka company. And he had 0 Redmont in him when he said Roll Tide.
Yeah, locally owned and operated. Redmont Vodka, it's 8 times distilled. It's gluten-free, available in 22 states. Ask for it by name if you're at a local bar or restaurant. If they don't have it, tell them to get it. It is Redmont Vodka.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Cool Ray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We're about to get some insight on the X's and O's of the Final Four matchup for Alabama against UConn coming up. But let me just save you a little bit of a headache for the weekend. When you get ready to watch on Saturday, don't go to CBS out of habit. Not on CBS. It's on TBS. It's on TNT. It's on True TV as a simulcast will be going on. TBS with the main broadcast there. It'll be habit forming to watch the Final Four on CBS, but it's on TBS. T for Tide.
Broadcasting. The Next Round golf card here. Your chance to play 4 area courses for just $99. It's presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. 18 holes in card at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, the Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. It's a $247 value, just $99. NextRound.store is where you go get these. The deluxe card, just $119. That's all 4 cards plus all 4 courses plus card. And an exclusive Next Round golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. NextRound.store, NextRound.store. There are no restrictions, good through October 24th. Richard Hendricks, the former Alabama great, now with the SEC Network, always kind with his time with us. What is up, Richard? How are you?
Doing great, guys. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, we always appreciate you coming on. I said earlier there was that back and forth between Bama and Clemson. I'm curious if you saw the same thing. Made 3 by Clemson, made 3 by Alabama, made 3 by Clemson, made 3 by Alabama. Shefflin comes back. Big guy tries that three, misses it. Alabama goes back, makes a three. I thought then Alabama has baited Clemson into their game. That was when I thought Alabama was going to win it.
Well, that's what they do. And when you're playing young players in college want to definitely shoot the basketball. And Alabama has the favorable style that everyone wants to play. I don't know if that's the game plan to beat Alabama, but if Alabama can dictate that style and get you roped into that style, then they're going to have the advantage. That's what happened to Clemson a little bit late. They got a little bit trigger happy with the three-pointers, and Alabama kept knocking them down and was able to extend their lead. But the threes was a big reason why Alabama was able to get back into that game when Clemson was establishing their low-post presence in the first half.
One of the things we haven't talked about, Alabama dominated the boards. You've got a big in P.J. Hall who got in foul trouble, but 44-33 on the glass, and it just looks through 4 games like different effort from this Alabama team. Would you agree?
Totally. And, I mention it all the time, and it's not because I'm a big man myself, but interior play is what really has to get you done to win in March. Alabama does not have the players like the other team in the Final Four with Edey and DJ Burns, as well as, just the better post play in this tournament. But Nick Pringle in that last game was huge. You talk about the rebounds he was able to have in the clutch, drawing fouls on P.J. Hall, and just being a man down low. It's what it's going to take for Alabama to try to compete here in the championship.
But guys like Aaron Estrada get a lot of rebounds too. Explain to me why a guy like Estrada gets so many rebounds, because he's been doing it all year. How does that work? A guard being good at rebounding?
Well, the simple thing, long shot, long rebound. When a lot of teams are shooting the shots from the outside, they're going to have a little bit deeper bounce, and Estrada has a good read on it. And also, when the bigs do a good job of boxing out, it could be by design that you have your guards to crash so they can get the rebound and push the offensive break. That's a tactical thing that a lot of coaches do. And you'll see that a little bit with like NC State, and as far as like DJ Burns, the guards get the rebound so they can get out into the break, and then you can get into your trail pick and roll action, which creates more space and opportunity in the transition game.
Richard Hendricks is with us at rhendricks35 on Twitter, at rhendricks35. You see him on the SEC Network and ESPN. He's with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What tactically have you seen in this tournament from Nate Oats that has jumped out at you that maybe, I don't know if it's a change, maybe it's more accentuated, but this team has played a little bit differently in this tournament. Have you seen anything tactically from Nate Oats that has jumped out at you?
Well, not anything different than what he normally does, but if you watch it from a strategic standpoint, you can look in that North Carolina game when they go pick and roll that they're looking for a specific matchup to exploit. And if you're able to do that and find where you have the advantage, that's something that you're trying to do from a bench standpoint at helping your team. Also, in the Clemson game, Clemson decided in the second half to go zone quickly and try to change up the rhythm against Alabama. Alabama did a phenomenal job of recognizing the zone and dialing up their zone plays and getting advantage and extending the lead in that game. You see in so many teams when they switch defenses, it takes a long time for players and coaches to identify what's going on. To me, those were the two biggest adjustments that Alabama has done in the tournament, adjusting in the pick and roll game and finding advantage to take advantage of that, and then against zone defense that Clemson ran and getting his team to play tougher. The toughness that they have been able to have instilled from their coaching staff in the last couple of games to move forward in the tournament has been the three things that I've been impressed with the adjustments.
Before the tournament, we didn't know if Nick Pringle was going to travel. We sure as hell didn't know if he was going to play. In the last 3 games, 29 boards, 24 points. How big has he been?
Huge. And you have to show up big in big games. He's done an outstanding job getting the fouls drawn in the last game and hitting big free throws in the clutch. This is a guy who shoots free throws one-handed. Not a lot of confidence that you see when he gets to the free throw line, but able to knock them down because they mean so much for every possession in the money time. But his rebounding, his shot blocking, his ability to draw fouls and be a threat on dump-offs and finish with alley-oops and finish up at the rim has been big for the Tide. But he and Grant Nelson and Stevenson will have to continue to do that in the Final Four because it will not get easier against UConn. They play really good basketball.
And this is another psychology question for you. I'd love to pick your brain.
I don't know if Richard was a psychology major.
No, but he understands sports psychology.
Okay.
So the offense for most of the year runs through Mark Sears. He doesn't score against North Carolina for the first 6 minutes of the game. Then he scores 14 to halftime. and then he scores 2 early, but only has 2 points through 17 minutes of the second half. But he's encouraging, running through plays to other people, very patient. Had a drought in the Clemson game, 0 of 7 to start with. Didn't really get hot until late. Just talk about maturity, patience, whatever it is that allows Mark Sears really not to force it in either one of those games where he really could have shot Alabama out of the tournament.
Well, I think it's also the balance in which you have multiple ball handlers. You know, when you can give the ball to Estrada and he can initiate the offense. Grant Nelson can bring it up the court and initiate the offense. When they have a healthy Reitzel, that takes the ball out of hand. It allows a player, from a psychological standpoint, when you're struggling, to see the game in front of you and to kind of wait for your moments and pick and choose. When you have the ball, as you can look at an example, was when Alabama played North Carolina. R.J. Davis fell into that trap. He had the ball so much, he shot his team out of it because he's wanting to get his points. And that's where you have to have the poise of the team perspective, to trust your teammates, to let them create. And Mark Sears got a lot of those big points in the end of games that came off of the pass, coming from Ryland Griffin and everyone else penetrating, kicking out, and doing the work from him. And then once he got his rhythm, he can get into the one-on-one game and take his man.
Richard Hendricks for a few more moments, SEC Network and ESPN. Before we move on to Alabama, UConn, I know Lance wants to ask you about that. I would like to ask you, had you been allowed to spend as much time in the paint as Zach Edey, you would have averaged how many points in your Alabama career?
Oh, man, I would have definitely – well, I don't know. I wasn't a great free throw shooter. That was my problem. If I could have hit some free throws, I would have averaged well over 20. But I'll tell you this. It wasn't the fouls that they didn't call on Edey. It was obviously the 3 seconds. When you're allowed to get deep post position in the paint, catch it and throw it out, never clear and establish yourself, it gives you so much of an advantage against a guy that's 7'4", 300 pounds. To me, it's been something to see the post play. He's a phenomenal player. I love watching Burns. I love watching him. But, you know, I've been able to call a couple of NIT games. They have a lot of experimental rules where they have changed the width of the paint. And that's where you don't see the translation of the college game to the pros. If you look at what DJ Burns does, backing his guy down from the 3-point line, that's a violation in the NBA. That's a 3-second call on Edey in the NBA. And that's why you don't see this type of style translate to the next level. But it was definitely a violation in the paint too much, and I'm pretty sure there will be some adjustments made as they move forward.
Well, and Alabama's got a massive big coming up in Donovan Clingan. He was just he was kind of a role guy last year, 6-5. He is one of the most improved players in college basketball. He's playing with a ton of confidence, and I think he's affecting teams more at the defensive end with his blocks right now. What does Alabama do to kind of neutralize Clingan in this matchup?
Listen, this guy's a problem. You know, he's 7'2". He's agile. He's long. You know, they get him in the pick and roll game because he can change ends very well. But what he's added to his game this year is they throw it into the block, and he has ability to turn over both shoulders. Defensively in that last game, blocked 5 shots, but changed and impacted probably another 5. So Alabama's going to have a lot of problems against UConn. They have really good positional size. They're probably going to try to run Alabama off the 3-point line and funnel them into Clingan to try to be a rim protector, which takes away from the layups and the threes that they're trying to go at. There's several things you can do. You're going to have to affect them with what you're going to do defensively against them when they're running their offense. But on the offensive end, the bigs are going to have to come up well, not just from a standpoint of posting help up and scoring, but on your screen and roll action. You can do several things like screen the ball screener and then screen Clingan as the driver goes to the basket. So many options in which people can do, and I'm sure this head coaching staff will be prepared on how they can adjust.
Listen, I want to give you a second to put on not your ESPN analyst hat, but your Alabama basketball hat real quick, because we heard from Mark Gottfried, who was at the game from the 80s, Ori from the 90s, you and Abasahan. We're about to talk to Antoine Pettway, Brian Passink. For the guys who have spilt blood for the program, what did Saturday mean for you?
I mean, it was amazing. You know, this was a moment that as a former player, you wanted to feel this when you played there. You know, you wanted to take Alabama to its first ever Final Four, and to see that this team finally could do it. And what Nate Oats has done, replacing all of his assistant coaches who have now gone on to be head coaches, get 2 players into the NBA in the first round draft picks, players leaving in the transfer portal who were big-time contributors on championship teams, to see what this team has done, overcoming injury with Latrell Reitzel, not playing their best basketball in the last games of the season and in the SEC tournament, to turn it on and to see the style that Nate Oats believes in to get them to the Final Four. It's just a special feeling for everyone who played there. There's so much joy. And for me, and people don't know a lot about this, but the staff has reached out a lot to former alums this past year with the reunions, having everyone involved, and you're seeing a big surge of Alabama basketball players having a big, commitment to the program. And you see that type of soul and culture that is being cultivated for everyone to be all behind this team. And in this year, for them to be pushed forward to get to the Final Four, it speaks so much volumes of this program and the direction it's going. And honestly, I don't think it's over. I think with the extension of Nate Oats, I think they're going to be back in Final Fours in the near future. I think recruiting will get better. People want to play this style of ball. And Alabama is going to be a power because they have one of the top coaches in the country.
Well said by Richard Hendricks, Alabama alum. Spent a lot of time playing ball in that crimson and white jersey, and I know you're very proud of that. Richard, thank you very much for the time. Always great talking with you.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right, buddy. Take care. Richard with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. At rhendricks35 if you want to follow Richard on Twitter.
Show being brought to you in part by our friends at Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Provider. Listen, anything can happen, whether you're playing pickup basketball in the driveway with the kids, pickleball with some friends, or maybe you're just doing yard work. You tweak something, you pull something, you maybe dislocate something. They can take care of you and get you back to life and get you back to work. PrecisionSportsOrtho.com/2024. Or call that number, 205-512-3885. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Orthopedic care better together. PrecisionSportsOrtho.com/2024. Rockstar, give me cut number 8. The emotions in the locker room. That was very emotional. I'm trying to say this correctly.
Okay.
Not surprised, but very emotional after the North Carolina win. Like emotional, like tears, and you just see the emotions. I think after they beat North Carolina, the Alabama players expected to beat Clemson. They had played them once and lost at home already. They sort of knew what they were getting into, and they thought they had a good chance at beating Clemson. North Carolina didn't surprise them, but it was such a monumental win to get to the Elite Eight. Not as many overwhelmed looks about being in the Final Four, but when you say it out loud, you can just see their eyes go, yeah, man, we're in the freaking Final Four. Here's Grant Nelson.
Final Four, just put it into the emotions.
It's hard to describe. It's something I've been working for my whole life, so, it's obviously great. Especially with this group where we have so many guys that step up at the right time. Jaron today, Nick, Mark, obviously. It's a lot of fun, and, we're looking to keep it going.
New copper thief. If this guy, and again, it looks just like Holden from The Killing. If this guy would have grown a mullet, he would be a fan favorite.
He really would. Everybody in the country would pay attention.
Everybody would be talking about this guy. I got him coming up in 4 downs, though. But
I'll tell you, LT, and our buddy Jimmy saw them first. But when I got into the arena, maybe 9 to 11 in different sections of fans from North Dakota State.
Oh, that's pretty cool, yeah.
Who had flown in just from North Dakota for that game on Saturday. Not Grant's family. These were North Dakota State fans. And I interviewed one of them for our platform, and basically it was a big moment for the state of North Dakota because they don't have a lot of Final Four experience, a lot of sports icons from North Dakota. They were telling me in their eyes, this is almost like North Dakota State making a Final Four, or one of the favorite sons of North Dakota making it to the Final Four. That you would fly to see a former player play a game for another team to carry that team to the Final Four says a lot about what Grant Nelson meant to North Dakota.
Pretty amazing. When we did the pregame on Saturday, I brought up Devil's Lake. That was the place I was going to send you when you sent me to Amish country. Did you get an opportunity to ask him about Devil's Lake?
I did not. Truthfully, I forgot the name, and I was going to bring it up in that moment right there when I interviewed him, but I forgot Devil's Lake. I should have just said his hometown.
Yeah, I thought it was going to backfire for Alabama, though, because they were so excited after the North Carolina win. And, talking to Alabama fans on Saturday before the game, all Alabama fans felt comfortable and confident.
I thought Alabama was going to win the game against Clemson. Now, when Bama started 1 of 13 from beyond the arc, and they were down 13, right, at that point, 1 of 13.
7.5 to go in the first half.
Yeah, and down 13, I'm like, I've seen this team dig out of a lot of holes, but at some point, you don't have the shovel anymore, right?
That's right.
And I feared that for Alabama, but, man, they went on that blitz at the end of the first half. That was just so impressive how they got back in that game. And that's the thing I'll say about Alabama. If they get down to UConn, and most people think they will, this team's been there all year. I mean, even some of their big wins, they were down and had to fight, like at Ole Miss. Some of those bigger wins they've had, they got down early and just had to claw back. Florida at home, claw back, and find a way to get the win. I don't think getting down to UConn, they're just going to lose their spirit. Until you start doing the math and there's just not enough time on the clock. But my point is, if they're down 15 to UConn in the first half, this team's been there before. Now they're going to have to play their tail off. I get it, but they've been there before.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they're able to shoot it in this arena.
Yeah, I think it's huge. Yeah.
You brought the point up earlier, but I think it's a legit point. Alabama has to shoot 40% plus, probably 45% plus to beat this team.
I'll try to confirm. But I think you only get 2 shoot-arounds in there, and one of them's open to the public.
Right.
You may get 3. You may get 2 on the open, 1 closed practice, and then if you've never been to the Final Four, and I've only been once with Auburn, the day before the Friday shoot-around is open to the public. So in Minnesota, there were probably 12 to 15,000 fans there to just do the shoot-arounds. And you have an hour, 60 minutes, and the team comes out. They're introduced by the PA, not individually, but here, welcome to the court, the Auburn Tigers back then. So it'll be welcome to the court, Alabama. And back then it was Jim Nance interviewing Bruce Pearl. So I don't know, some CBS or TBS personality will be there to interview Nate when Alabama's out there to start the practice.
Over the house.
The house speaker. Because it's not broadcast live, but it's over the house PA system. And then basically it is just a glorified shoot-around is all it is. So there'll be a closed practice. When the team gets out there, they'll be working out somewhere locally, probably Arizona State, knowing Nate's connection with Bobby Hurley. They used USC when they were out there.
Of course, his brother's out there, too. His brother might get dibs on Arizona State.
We'll see. That's a great point there. Yeah. And then you will go back on Saturday and shoot around. So not a ton of stuff to do there. Antoine Pettway coming up when we come back on the show. That is being brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Guys, staying on top of your prostate health is so important. UCA can get you ready for an appointment. 16 locations around the state of Alabama. Urologists standing by for everything from prostate health to kidney stones. They'll take care of you. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. 205-930-0920. The one and only Antoine Pettway puts into perspective what Nate Oats means, what these players mean, and what the moment was for Alabama basketball history Saturday when we come back on TNR.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Coolray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Ready to swap from your current auto or RV loan provider and drop your interest rate? Now is your chance. With Legacy Credit Union's annual swap and drop promotion, you can swap your current loan and save with Legacy in minutes. Whether you're a member or a potential member, Legacy Credit Union is here to help you drive into savings. Go online to swapanddrop.com or visit one of their 9 locations to take advantage of this incredible offer. Limited time offer, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Get ready to level up your fandom with the Autograph app. Co-founded by the legendary Tom Brady himself, this app is your one-stop shop for everything college sports. Access to all the best sports content, exciting fan challenges, and exclusive rewards. Think crazy discounts on tickets, limited edition merch, and much more. Just look at this. Autograph hooked up 6 lucky fans with tickets to the Arkansas-Alabama game for just $16 a ticket. That's what they call true fan pricing. Ready to join the party? Download the free Autograph app today and use the code TNR for exclusive access.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by Amherst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
We're about to talk to Antoine Pettway, and he just popped up on our preview screen in here, and I've never seen him in those colors until he started coaching another school this year, and we're very, very proud of him. Antoine Pettway in a second, but first let me tell you about Talladega Super Speedway. People watching is part of it. Great concert with Walker Hayes on Saturday night, but racing for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, including the Geico 500, April 19th through the 21st. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, 877-GO-TO-DEGA to get the tickets, experience it, upgrade to the garage experience. It's all there for you racing fans. Coming in April 19th through the 21st, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
All right, he is now the head basketball coach for the Owls, Kennesaw State, and the Ace Sun. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, but forever an Alabama legend, Antoine Pettway. Welcome in, Coach. How are you today?
Man, I'm doing awesome. I'm ready to get out there to Phoenix.
I bet you are. As a guy that played a team into the Elite Eight, you were on that team. You know how hard it is to make a Final Four. You guys ran into a UConn buzzsaw, obviously, but all the connections you've got. We'll get to your connection with Coach Oats, but just the Alabama blood, native of the state, played at Alabama, that runs through your veins. What was Saturday night like for you watching that win over Clemson to punch the ticket?
Oh, I loved it. Me and my family were sitting there watching. My son was jumping up and down like every basketball player that ever put that Alabama jersey on, every fan that ever came into a game at Coleman Coliseum. This is what you dreamed of. And Coach Oats has been able to lead this program to the Final Four, his first Final Four in history, man. That's tremendous. That's tremendous. I'm telling you, like, I feel it. Like, it's like everybody that ever played a part in it, like, you feel a part of it. You know, you help lay the foundations. And for him to get us there, for that team to get us there, man, we can't wait to get out there and support. But I know everybody in the state of Alabama is on cloud 9 right now, for sure.
Well, I wanted to ask you this, because we were talking about the last time we saw Alabama play in one of these big domes coming up in Glendale. You were there. You played in the last couple of SEC tournaments in Atlanta. As a shooter, how difficult is it to go from, a smaller arena to one of these big domes?
It's a little adjustment, but I know Coach Oats and that staff, they're going to get them in, in some arenas and try to get them reps. But a lot of people ask me about, like, it's just the work that Coach Oats puts in every single day. So he's going to have those guys in the gym. Everybody asks why they play with so much confidence, why they take those shots they take and they going in. It's the work. He demands those guys be in the gym all day, all night, man, and that breeds confidence. So I don't think they're gonna have a big adjustment because they gonna make shots. They're gonna play the way Alabama plays, and I'm telling you, it's the work, man. He demands that work. He sets the tone from the top down, and it just trickles down through their whole organization. But those guys gonna be confident. They're gonna play Alabama style of basketball.
I know you had a hand in recruiting some of these players and scouting some of the others that end up taking the Alabama offer after you left. Guys like Mark Sears from Ohio. You got a guy from Dodge City, a guy from North Dakota State, and a guy from Hofstra, and that's the starting lineup in the Final Four. What did you look for now at Kennesaw, and what Nate looked for in these mid-major guys, the portal guys that make it all fit together at this level? What's the first thing you notice in a player when you're scouting a guy like Mark Sears?
Well, the skill set, can they dribble, pass, and shoot, and then do they affect winning when their shots not falling? We knew Mark. I've been knowing Mark since we was in the 7th grade, and we got a chance to watch him. I always tell the story. We were playing. I can't remember who we were playing, and then scouts were at our game, and they were actually in their route from watching our game. I think someone was flying up to Ohio to check him out. I'm like, you going to Ohio to see Mark Sears? And they were like, yeah, we're going to check him out. He's putting up numbers. And so we got to, start looking at his stats. And I think in that MAC, he was probably first in scoring and like third in assists as a sophomore. And we started breaking his video down. And, that's one thing they do a great job up there as well, man. Like, they know who they're getting. Like, he studies. Like, everybody knows he's a numbers guy. But they study. They put the numbers on the paper, and they study these guys frontwards and backwards, man. They study them. They know exactly who they're getting out the portal. That's why they've had success with like a guy like Grant Nelson, with Mark Sears, with Aaron Estrada. They know exactly how well they're going to fit into that system. And so we did that with Mark Sears, and, man, he came in, and I think winning just was at the forefront. I'll never forget, man, it was a day in practice. We were having a tough practice, and Coach asked the guys, why did they come? And when he got to Mark, he was like, I came here to get to a Final Four. And it's just see, that hard work come to fruition, man, that's big time. I love it. I'm enjoying every minute of it.
We can tell. Kennesaw State head basketball coach Antoine Pettway, Alabama legend, with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You will find no shortage of people, Coach, in this state today that'll say, I always thought Nate Oats would get Alabama to the Final Four. You were on the previous staff. I don't know how well you knew Coach Oats when he took the job. Can you take me back? I mean, were you one of those guys that you were like, I see a guy now, I want to be part of this because I think he's got Final Four in him?
Yeah, when you do your research, Greg Byrne and everybody that helped hire him did their research. And when you do your research, you know the success he had that came with Coach Oats. I mean, coming from Romulus High School, doing what he did at Buffalo. I mean, he had those dudes getting not only making the tournament, but they were beating people in the tournament, beating team higher seeds. So you knew the style of play, was going to be an incitement to the fans and get high quality recruits to come play for them. But I'm telling you guys, like, when you get a chance to work with them, I got a unique perspective. I grew up an Alabama fan. I got a chance to play there, and I also got a chance to work with those guys and grew to love them. But when you see how hard they work every single day, and it starts from the top down, Nate Oats, he gonna show up and he gonna get to it. Like, he's gonna work and he's gonna get better every single day. He's gonna make everybody in that organization get better. But Adam Bowman, Henry, Clark, Josh Pierce, those guys every single day, man, they're working to get better. And it's a reason we're where we are right now as a program. But he's successful because of his hard work, and he demands that through every single person in that organization. He makes everybody touch better, and that's what you're seeing, man. Those guys, like Mark Sears, a better player since he got to Alabama. Grant Nelson, better. Aaron Estrada, Rylan Griffin. These dudes keep getting better and better as the season goes on, as the games goes on. Nick Pringle. And I'm telling you, man, don't count us out. Don't count us out. He's gotten us this far, man. Let's keep going.
Well, key's going to be the big for UConn. And I asked Richard Hendricks, as a former big and an analyst, how you defend Donovan Clingan as a head coach. What do you throw at this guy?
Man, you got to fight his catches pretty much. You got to limit his touches around the rim. UConn do a great job of getting them open, getting them angles to the rim. But I'm going to tell you this, they got to guard us too. They got to guard that system we play, man. And that's going to be, the battle within the battle. Him having to guard, shooting bigs and maybe have to come out on the perimeter, maybe get him in foul trouble early. But that big kid UConn has, he's a handful for sure.
I wanted to ask you about Sears again, because his shots were non-existent in the North Carolina game early on, and then non-existent in the second half. They did a great job of limiting Mark's touches. And then they just weren't falling to start with in the Clemson game. But he battled through that. But there was a chance he could have been very, very selfish, kept shooting, and shot Alabama out of the tournament, and he did not. How tough is that to do when you always put up 20 points, to not shoot when the shot's not there, not force something? That's got to be tough to do, Antoine.
Yeah, well, it could be, but I don't think it is for him and the guys that are on that team, because it's about sacrifice. At this point in period, stats don't mean anything to any one of those guys. Like, it's about winning and advancing and surviving. So if you got to go 1 for 10, but get 9 or 10 assists and get a big stop, you got to be willing to do that. And that's what you see. That's what you see from that team. Their whole program's complete buy-in. You know, like, it's just right now where you are in the Final Four, even when you're in the Elite Eight or the Sweet 16, throw your stats out the window, because you can get 35 and you lose and the season over. The jerseys are in mothballs. You know what I mean? Like, it's about continuing now to survive. And so I think you lose yourself in the game. You know, you hear them tell the team that all the time, lose yourself in the game. And I think that's what our guys are doing, losing themselves in the game. And if the play is the shot, shoot it. If the play is to throw the lob, the Pringle, throw it. But make the right play. And those dudes are getting coached on that now. They're getting coached on that every single day. Make the right play, make the winning play. And I think that's what you're seeing those dudes are doing.
You know, I've got no control over at Alabama, but you'll hang a banner for the Final Four, regardless of what happens Saturday and Monday. They hang Final Four banners at North Carolina and Duke and Kentucky, too. So there'll be a banner going up in Coleman Coliseum. Sure. Opening game next year. Would it be okay? Let's go Kennesaw State, Alabama opening night for banner night, just so you can be in the arena. Would you sign up for that?
Hey, I don't know, man. We got to talk about that. They're gonna have to pay me a lot of money to bring us in there, but we may talk. We can talk about that. We can talk about
You know they'd pay you a lot of money to come in there. Come on.
But I don't know if I want to be there for banner night. I mean, that place is gonna be rocking for sure when we drop that Final Four banner. So, no, I don't know if you're gonna be able to talk me into doing that one.
See, the Antoine Pettway I know would have said, you don't want me in there on banner night. You don't want to get upset on banner night.
I think Antoine, he's got more Alabama guys on the roster than Alabama does. So he's recruiting over here.
We got a few.
Yeah, you got to bring them home, Coach. Let them play in front of their home folk there.
I'm going to push it. I'm pushing it all weekend. Banner night, Kennesaw State, Alabama to open up the season.
Let's do it.
Well, Coach, we wish you all the best at Kennesaw State. I know year one didn't finish the way you wanted it, but you're building there, and we wish you all the best. And you know, a lot of people over here are massive fans of you and want to see you do well there.
Thank you guys so much, man. Appreciate everything. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Take care. That is Antoine Pettway, the Alabama great. And I keep saying Alabama great. There are not many, if any, more popular players in the history of Alabama basketball than that guy.
One of the biggest shots in history against Florida to claim that regular season SEC title. Kind of the glue that held that staff together. And just a great energy guy. And I'm sure he's going to have an opportunity after Kennesaw State to do some special things.
A big shot in the Elite Eight run, too. I mean, the regular season shot won it. The regular season championship. Was it the opening round game he had a shot?
Yeah, he did.
Was it against Southern Illinois?
I think that is right, yeah.
That was a big one, though. That Elite Eight run never happens. And, you know, he just didn't hit the game-winning shots. He was a big part of that team. And this year at Coleman Coliseum, when that Elite Eight team was honored back there, bigger than Mark Gottfried and bigger than anybody else on that roster. It was by far the loudest cheer by 3 times.
Oh, look, and I know this was a great opportunity for him to get Kennesaw State, and you said, you know, they didn't really stick the landing, and he's building there, but you would have loved for him to be on this staff one more time.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it had to be a tough decision. I mean, Kennesaw, all 3 of those guys took jobs that were on the staff last year, Georgia Southern, Arkansas State, and Kennesaw. So, I mean, I know it was a tough decision for him, and you look back on it now, and you're like, gosh, I'm missing the Final Four run. But, I mean, he's building something there. He wants to be a head coach. He'd been an assistant at Alabama 15 years. I mean, it's crazy to think about. And had been at Alabama before that as an assistant before he went to Jacksonville State. But I'm serious when I say it. Now, I do think if Mark Sears plays another year, either way, Mark Sears is going to probably be viewed that way. Mark Sears is a state of Alabama guy. I know he started at Ohio, but – you know, he Muscle Shoals through and through, and he's got another year if he doesn't try his hand in the professional game. Mark Sears is going to be viewed a lot of the ways Antoine Pettway is.
If they were to win a championship, and look, I think if I would have told you for them to win 4 games to get to a Final Four or to win the last 2, you know, it's kind of a push which one you would have said it has a better chance of happening. So if they're able to finish the deal, which I don't think a lot of people believe they will, I think Sears is going to go down as one of the greatest players in Alabama history.
No doubt.
As Myers 14 points on Pettway, remember, former walk-on.
Yep.
And he earned his way every step of the way. Gets the scholarship, GA, goes to Jacksonville State, back on the coaching staff, stayed through coaching changes. starting at Kennesaw State, not starting at a further up the ladder job. It's at Kennesaw State there, where he knows he can recruit Alabama and Georgia, a recruiting hotbed that he knows very well. That kid has earned it every step of the way. So I hope he makes it somewhere quick.
Again, I didn't use those words lightly when I said Alabama legend. I don't know a single Alabama fan that does not love Antoine Pettway. Yeah. That guy represents what every Alabama fan wants their program to represent.
Yeah. Am golfer. What I'll always remember about Pett was his ruby red shoes when he was dancing there. Yep. Awesome. Crusty says, I don't think Sears can do any more than what he's done this year.
Oh, he can. He can hit 7 threes against UConn.
Make it 10. Make it double digits. Hey, the show being brought to you in part by our friends at Bandwagon Brownie. A chance now, while you got all this fandom going, bring it down to a local level with our friends at Bandwagon.
Hey, it's All-Star season. Our friends at Bandwagon want to help your team look their best and play their best. Whether you've got a vision for your team uniforms or you're just starting from scratch, Bandwagon can help your team hit the field in style. Bandwagon can create any custom apparel. Whether your business is looking for the newest polo or your all-star moms want to make the matching tank tops. So check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That is bandwagonsports.com for all your custom apparel needs. Next round, it is time to jump on the bandwagon, bandwagonsports.com.
Okay, Hemphill's best and worst of the weekend continues. Before you tell us about Hemphill, can you show me the women's basketball snafu in Portland, Forrester, on the court here? This is just flat out embarrassing.
It really is. It's sad.
It's an NCAA tournament event. There's no way this would happen in a men's game. Shouldn't happen in a women's game either. Whoever's in charge of the venue. The three-point line different at each end of the court, and they played the game. Yeah. Nobody noticed it.
Well, no, they agreed to play the game.
Oh, they did? Okay.
No, they agreed. They found it before the game, and the coaches, they're like, it's going to be a massive delay, or we could just play through it. And they're like, screw it, we'll play through it.
I mean, yeah, because you rotate halves. Obviously, it's kind of an equal playing court, so to speak.
I was on a flight, so they played. They played the game.
Yeah, but it is unacceptable.
It is.
You've got a week to put this thing together, or even longer.
Yeah, you knew you had this event years in advance, right?
Yeah. Specifically designed courts for these events, as you can see with the logos there, and in Portland, that is just a sad situation.
And it probably didn't affect the outcome of the game. I mean, it's not a significant difference, but it is a difference.
So is one of them the women's line and one of them the men's line?
Yeah. And I don't understand it. If you're gonna do this tournament, this seems like a really small detail.
No, I didn't see the aftermath. I guess Texas couldn't bitch because they agreed to it.
Yeah, everybody agreed to play it. And again, like you said, Lance, everybody gets the same amount of time on both ends of the court there.
One of those was a 1 seed, right? That lost. The 1 seed lost.
But this is on the heels of last year or 2 years ago when they showed the weight room, the workout room in the women's hotel, and it was like a couple dumbbells and a medicine ball sitting in the corner, and they're like, look, we're not trying to be the men's tournament. You can do better than this.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Look, I get that the women's tournament doesn't produce as much as the men's tournament. I understand that. But you can do better than this. Yeah. If you're going to do the tournament, do it right.
Jay said it was fun, though, to watch, saying when the announcer is able to say, that would have been a 3 if they were shooting at the other end. Craziness there. So one of the court was an innie, one of the court was an outie.
Well, I am told now by someone that would know that the women's and men's are the same distance, so it makes even less sense how you could screw this up. That they play on the same three-point line, women's and men's. So now it makes even less sense. How do you have two different three-point lines if you didn't have to move them?
They play with the men's ball?
I don't know. What they did one year, that was not an NCAA tournament game, was it? Or was it when they played a half with the wrong ball?
Yeah, it probably was an NCAA tournament. I do remember that, yeah.
I don't know how you screw up small details like that.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, more best and worst of the weekend and just reaction to everything going on, including Alabama in the Final Four. Hemphill Services bringing you best and worst of the weekend.
Yeah, trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Our friends at Hemphill Services, 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
And our little Johnson RV on the road update for you. Before Brownie tells us about Johnson RV, we're excited about what we're doing on the show tomorrow. Brownie, Tomorrow,
Yes.
the show's on the road again.
It is on the road and Auburn. We will be in the Auburn football complex. We've confirmed all the times. Coach Hugh Freeze, like Coach DeBoer, is going to join us at 11:30 and finish out the show. So we'll go 30 straight minutes with the Auburn coach. I'm sure Lance will have a list mixed in there. We always enjoy those. We will talk with John Cohen, the Auburn athletics director. A number of players coming by. Eugene Asante is coming by. So he will be by there. I may have times on that real quick, if you'll give me 2 seconds here. So you can go ahead and definitely make plans. Give me 2 seconds here. Jimmy D. Eugene Asante going to be by. We've got a lot of players at the 10 o'clock hour, including Peyton Thorne around 10:30. Eugene Asante around 10:45. John Cohen will start the show pretty early, around 9:30. There's some other people filtering by there. Auburn trying to show off some of their great athletes and their coaches as well. So we'll have a lot going on from the Auburn complex. But always on the road, Johnston RV Center, I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator. They have repriced everything on the lot, and they're so confident those prices are the best you'll find anywhere that they are offering a nationwide price guarantee. You bring any price nationwide on a comparable RV, they will beat it at Johnston RV Center. You can see more online at johnstonrvcenter.com. Also, don't forget RV warranty forever. Any new or used under 2 years of age, any qualifying RV covered by a lifetime warranty. Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, always online, johnstonrv.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations: Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Man, that's a bold question, but it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. One thing's for sure, when you've got an irresistible tasty match like Zero Sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste it with your ears, because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. Truthfully, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar. Best Coke ever?
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Just got a pretty big update.
Latrell Wrightsl's going to play.
Direct flights from Alabama to Phoenix.
Or
from Birmingham to Phoenix.
Well, there is a way for Alabama fans to go there, LT.
Lance, are you reading the script?
And we're excited about this. Our coverage will start on our platform Thursday night, and we'll have a couple of people on site for the Final Four starting Friday. If you want to go to the Final Four as an Alabama fan, and I do expect the crowd to be huge for Alabama fans out there. If you're looking at travel and everything, this is the way to do it. Tip off your weekend with a trip to the men's Final Four with Total Sports Travel. They're taking us to roll with the Tide in Phoenix, and there's room for you too. The official University of Alabama travel packages are still available now. Round trip, private, nonstop charter air transportation, meal and beverage services on board, round-trip airport and hotel transfers, 4 nights hotel accommodations at official NCAA-assigned hotels, round-trip transfers from hotel to State Farm Stadium Saturday and Monday, official Final Four souvenir, event credential with lanyard, on-site travel directors, and more, all included in your package. Visit TotalSportsTravel.com to book your trip today. Now, if you've got friends that are going, I'm going to say it again. TotalSportsTravel.com. TotalSportsTravel.com. You can book your trip today. So really everything involved. Later on in the show, we'll have a link for you and a graphic and all that. But TotalSportsTravel.com to book your trip today with all that included. If you're looking for the way to go, check out this right there. Again, the website, TotalSportsTravel.com to book your trip today.
You've done that from Phoenix.
Yeah,
from
I did.
Phoenix coming home.
Yeah, I did the flight home. I mean, it's the way to do it. It was completely packed out, as you would expect with Alabama football fans. But I think even more demand because, as you said, I think Alabama football fans have gotten numb to it. Not that they don't travel with the best of them, but this is, at least until this point, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I don't know any Alabama basketball fan that has the means that won't go to this.
Yeah, so it's an opportunity there for you to be there to see the game, the first ever Final Four game for Alabama coming up this Saturday. And we'll get details on travel and everything, but it feels like it's a Friday getaway there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then you return home. LT's done it. It's a way to go, and that's the way we'll be traveling out there and the way you can travel too. And that's the way to roll right there with TotalSportsTravel.com to book your trip today. Check that out with all of that stuff included on that. All right, show also being brought to you by our friends at here at the Next Round. It's golfing season again, Brown. You dress like you're about to go 18. We've got the golf card back too, man. We got a lot going on.
You ask me every day if I play golf, and I dress like this all summer.
Yeah,
I'm always ready to play golf.
Yeah, he's got his clubs in the car. I bet.
Not today. No, I got too much to do today. Next Round golf card. Your chance to play 4 area courses for just $99. 18 holes of golf and card at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, the Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club, presented by the Urology Centers of Alabama. That's $247 value, just $99. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Card for just $119. All 4 courses there with card. Exclusive Next Round Golf T-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. No restrictions. Card good through October 2024. Supplies are limited. Get your golf card now. NextRound.store. That is NextRound.store for the Next Round Golf Card.
All right. So fun to catch up with Richard Hendricks again, but especially Antoine Pettway. First time I've talked to Antoine since he took that job at Kennesaw State, so that was fun. Games are Saturday, Purdue and NC State, UConn and Alabama. Just before 5 and just after 8 is the expected tip times. It's on TBS as well. It's been 17 years since we've had our last back-to-back national champions. 88% that UConn wins it all is what I'm seeing here. They go on to win 2 more games.
Well, you saw, I mean, everyone had UConn winning this thing except the 3 of us. I don't think any of us 3. I know you had Auburn. I had Houston.
I had Arizona.
You had Arizona.
Yes, I did, Lance.
But not only
you came the closest to having the national champion. Isn't that the way it cycled out?
Not really.
I was the first one out.
Jamal Shedd doesn't go down, they beat Duke. And I think Houston beats NC State. I think Houston's in the Final Four right now. I know it's easy to say with him going out, but, I mean, he's one of the top 5, 7 players in all of college basketball, and they were just deflated after that. But not only is UConn looking to become the first back-to-back champion, they're the first since 2007 to go back to a Final Four.
But I think this is the best team we've seen since those Florida teams. Would you agree?
I don't know. I mean, they're playing like it right now.
Yeah, who else did you put? I mean, my gosh, Lance, they've won 10 straight tournament games by 13 or more. Is it 10 or 9, Dunaway?
2012 Kentucky was better
than this team.
Yeah, 2014 Kentucky was better. That lost to Wisconsin, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, that Kentucky team was really good.
They were undefeated before they lost in the semis to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And that was a great Wisconsin team with Frank Kaminsky.
Well, we went into that Final Four thinking
Kentucky was going to win it all. I thought Wisconsin was going to win it all, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Duke ended up winning it all.
Yeah, but Kentucky seemed like they were the team that could not lose.
Yeah,
could not lose.
Gonzaga that lost to Baylor. Baylor and Gonzaga would have beaten this team, in my opinion. 3 years ago.
3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I
thought you had more respect.
Last year's UConn team would have beaten this UConn team.
Yeah. God, they've won
I know.
every game in
I
this
know.
tournament by 30 or more points.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're playing incredible right now, but I'm just talking about better overall team.
But now I said this about Georgia football. There's a reason nobody wins 3 consecutive national championships. And in fact, Georgia did not do that. There's a reason nobody goes back-to-back in this tournament a whole lot.
Yeah, I thought for whatever reason UConn wouldn't make the Final Four. I just thought something would happen, and boy, it's been dominant.
Let's continue the basketball talk with our 4 Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice. Slice has a great location for lunch and for dinner. 4 locations, but now number 5.
Yep, and now 5 is open in Edgewood. I've had an opportunity to go into that location a couple of times. Fantastic. The concept created by the late Jeff Bajaya, his brothers, Chris and Jason, continue to celebrate his legacy. Stop in one of the 5 locations. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Better chance of pulling the upset and playing next Monday, Alabama or NC State?
I think Burns is going to be I agree with what you said earlier. Number 1, Burns is going to be a handful for Edey. I think that's a pretty good matchup because he's got basketball moves that Edey normally doesn't have to deal with. And Edey's big, but Edey's
got 7 inches on him.
I know. That's the thing that scares me the most. But you made the point earlier. After all this week with everybody talking about Edey living in the paint, you just wonder how much the officials are watching that.
Yeah.
And if that starts to get in his head, because what Richard said, Richard is right. You can't let a guy sit up in the deep post, have to kick it back out, and then him not have to go back out and reestablish himself. He's able to kick it back out, move his butt a little bit, get a little better position, and they kick it right back into him. How are you supposed to defend that?
Yeah, it's impossible to do. Yeah. I would tell you that David also was 7 inches shorter than Goliath, and I think NC State has a better shot.
Okay, what's the rock? Is it Reitzel?
No, it's it's a big orange thing.
No, I'm just saying it's going to be somebody that comes out of nowhere. And if Reitzel's able to play in this game, I could see him be that guy. They're going to have to hit 14, 15, 16 threes to be able to beat UConn.
I think
I'm going to go with
your better chance of
I'm going to go with NC State.
I think it's NC State too. I think it's Burns on Edey. I think Burns is on a roll now and has just enough of a body that could get Edey into foul trouble.
Second down.
Who has made more NIL money over these last 2 weeks, Grant Nelson or DJ Burns?
Oh, DJ Burns.
DJ Burns. Yeah, it's just the personality. Grant has played tremendous, but Jim, you've interviewed Grant. He's a pretty chill guy. He just doesn't have the personality that Burns has.
That's right, and he doesn't have the nickname.
The DJ,
the DJ, or the vending. I mean, he's a vending machine entrepreneur. So what a great nickname if he went on to the NBA. Just be called the vending machine.
One of my late best friends, Tommy Cummings, was from Raleigh, North Carolina, and he ended up going to Alabama. But he worked at a place called Amedio's. And anybody I talked to from Raleigh, I asked them if they've been to Amedio's, and it's a big food joint. I would think DJ Burns would be a great endorser for an Italian joint like Amedio's.
Yeah,
he looks like he could eat a lot of pasta.
Now, Burns does not have eligibility left. This is his 5th year, right? Am I right about that?
I think he's got a year left. I could be wrong.
I think this is his 5th year, and even though he played through the COVID year, that doesn't help him because this is his 5th year.
Yeah, but let's face it. Was it MasterCard that in Major League that they did? Nobody knows our names, and they did that commercial, that fake commercial. I mean, Alabama in this Final Four, they could do a MasterCard commercial because you got, as I said earlier,
nobody would know.
It's pretty crazy. Mark Sears at Ohio, Estrada at Hofstra, North Dakota State, and Dodge City Junior College is the starting 5 for Alabama. That's insane that those guys started somewhere else at that level and are now in the Final Four. That's a story for you, man.
Third down.
Better career to this point, Dan Hurley or Bobby Hurley?
It feels like a trick question.
American Express. Thank you, Kevin.
Well, we feel like, Bobby Hurley's the head coach at a job that, it doesn't pay as much, but Arizona State, we just continue to forget that. He's gotten the Sun Devils to 3 NCAA tournaments. This is a guy that had one of the best seasons of all time at point guard, being an All-American, being the
so I include his playing days.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you now. That's a game changer. Coach versus coach.
Oh,
it's
not even
easy,
close,
Dan.
yeah.
Playing days, Bobby Hurley was tremendous.
And remember, Bobby Hurley got drafted 7th overall by the Sacramento Kings. He was in that unfortunate, he was driving a Land Cruiser. He got T-boned. I think it was by like a station wagon, but he almost died. And if it wasn't his coach then at the Sacramento Kings, and I forgot who it was actually the guy that discovered him laying on the side of the road. And he just never was the same without that surgery. He still played like 5 or 6 years in the league.
But not the same explosion there. I think what Danny Hurley is doing, though, I'll go Danny Hurley here, even though Bobby Hurley is part of an iconic team, right? He was on there with Christian Laettner, one of the most hated Duke teams of all time.
Yeah. Remember, Bobby Hurley got the runs before the Final Four game. And he had to, I think it was Final Four or the Elite Eight, and he had to actually run out, go to the bathroom, and come back.
Yeah. I'll never forget. This is the most random thing. It was one January Saturday sitting in my den at home, and it was so cold outside that I was just kind of stuck inside. And I flip on NBC Sports Network, and Rhode Island is playing somebody, and Danny Hurley's the coach. And I remember thinking, you focus so much on Bobby Hurley. This Danny Hurley guy is interesting. So I Google him to see how much money he's making, how he's done at Rhode Island. And at the time, they'd done really well, and he took the UConn job shortly after that. He was not successful early on at UConn.
No.
They had not been, he was one and done at UConn until they won the championship last year. I'm not saying he was already on the hot seat, but listen to his first 3 years. 16-17, 6-12 in conference. He replaced Kevin Ollie, right?
He did, yeah.
19-12, 10-8 in conference. Those aren't great numbers at UConn. They expect more than that.
He's got it in him. Keep talking it up,
now,
man.
That was the American. They swapped to the Big East, 15-8, 11-6 in the COVID year.
It seems like he thinks he's John Wooden, though.
But even the year
you can't doubt him right now. But
I know. Even the year they won the national championship, Lance, he was 13-7 in the Big East. Finished 4th in the Big East.
Yeah, what were their seed last year? 5 when they won it all.
I don't know if they were a 5. I know maybe they were. San Diego State was. There were 2 5s. I think Florida Atlantic was a 5.
Yeah.
They weren't a 7 or even worse?
I don't think so.
If you'll give me 2 seconds, I'll answer that question for you. Jimmy D,
I think
they were a 4
3.
seed.
Okay.
They were 4 in the West.
They were 4. So they were a 4. Yeah, that's where Alabama is right now.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting, Jim.
It's just a fact.
No, it is
not
a fact.
prediction.
Well, no, it's just a fact.
Let's do 4
Fourth down.
Okay, April Fool's today. If I asked you the better April Fool's prank overall, Sid Finch or Taco Bell's Taco Liberty Bell? I don't know if you guys remember that.
I don't remember the Taco Liberty Bell. Does Rockstar have photos of this? What happened, Rocky?
Do not. I don't know the
Yeah,
difference.
so it was 1996. They did a full campaign in USA Today where they said they had bought the Liberty Bell.
Yes.
And because they were giving back to America, and they renamed it the Taco Liberty Bell. And people actually believed this.
And lost their mind, didn't they?
Yeah. But the Sid Finch thing, I believed it because I was a kid reading, and I was like, damn, this dude throws like 117 miles an hour.
Yeah, it was a Sports Illustrated story.
Yeah, I think Rick Riley did it.
Yeah.
But I think everybody that read it initially, because this is before the internet, obviously, everybody believed Sid Finch was legitimate.
Yeah. I would say the Sid Finch thing is the one that...
Yeah, maybe so, but boy, Taco Liberty Bell is just funny, though. It's funnier than the Sid Finch thing, that people would honestly believe that the United States sold the naming rights to the Liberty Bell to the Taco Bell company. I mean, that's just so silly that people would buy that one.
That's 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Again, 5 locations now. The newest location, Edgewood Slice. Get in and see the Bajalia brothers. From the hot mama to the soul pie, great specialty pizzas, local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Rockstar, get cut number 10 ready. Speaking of what LT was talking about, Danny Hurley with a comment this weekend. Well, I tell you that our friends at NASCAR, they don't mind bumping and grinding a little bit on that racetrack. Grinding was the word I was going to use, but I was trying to think of rubbing.
It's funny. I was at a local brewery. You guys saw me, and I asked the bartender. I was like, "They're clearing us out at 5. Who's playing tonight?" And they were like, "Man, it's a big headliner. We've got R. Kelly opening for P. Diddy." I was like,
Fools.
yeah, you're going to have a lot of people in blue coming down for this one.
Our friends at NASCAR ready to race again. Geico 500 is April the 21st. You can camp all weekend at Talladega, that wonderful racetrack there that Brownie and all of us had a chance to run out there and experience when the track was closed a few days ago. We walked around, toured everything, including Big Bill's garage there. That garage experience gets you inside with some great racing history, as you see Brown enjoying there. Everything at Talladega Superspeedway. Go enjoy it. It is April 19th through the 21st on the how high, Brownie?
Very high. Higher than I can make it back down walking.
TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Here's Danny Hurley. He gets asked about how dominant UConn has been in the tournament. Sometimes I think we're from the South, they're from the North, and we just we hear things differently, but this sounds a little cocky to me.
You're beating teams by 27.7 points in this tournament. I mean, you guys obviously had a great regular season, but you weren't this level of dominant where, I mean, you're breaking teams' wills. Do you feel like you guys have taken the intensity even up a notch in this tournament?
You know, the Big East is a monster. The Big East is a monster. And iron sharpens iron. You know, I read a tweet last night, I think, from a former Illinois player, I don't know, Sean Harrington, or who's a good player, is a McDonald's All-American. One of the staff members wanted to add a little more fuel to my fire, a little, something. UConn has not had to play against this physical a team, and they've never seen someone like Terrence Shannon, something along those lines. And statements like that are just asinine. You're going against beasts and monsters every night in the Big East, and the Big East prepared us for teams like Illinois.
So you hear him talk, might as well be playing the Soviets.
Hey, I told you, man. He is a cocky dude. Obviously, he can coach, and if he wins back-to-back national championships, only a few have done that. But there's other ways to answer that, right?
Yeah, I mean, the whole added fuel to my fire deal. But, people say that all the time. Oh, you play in these tough conferences. Almost everybody said the Big 12 is the best conference this year.
How many Final Four teams do they have?
How many Elite Eight teams do they have, Jim?
Yeah. The Big 12,
same number,
I believe, was the best conference in basketball. Yeah. I think we talked about it. I think the SEC was the second best. They've only got one in this.
That's right. So I don't know how much that matters.
I think the Big East was the third best. I mean, look, Marquette ended up not being as good. Missing Tyler Kolek for all that time was big. I thought Creighton was really, really good. And Creighton had opportunities against Tennessee. And look, the Big East is a great conference. Is it, iron sharpening iron?
I know that's what people like to say, but I mean, a lot of times at the tournament that does not add up. I mean, the ACC took a ton of criticism. You had Clemson, Duke, and NC State all had a shot at making the Final Four.
Yeah,
and people were like, the ACC's down this year.
That's a great point, Brownie. All right, we're into the 11 o'clock hour, final hour of the show today, brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Always this hour, opens up at 11 every day on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Monday through Friday is a great break from work. It's a date night throughout the weekend as well. Cater for the Final Four game coming up this weekend. Champy'sChicken.com. Sterling will take care of you. We're back with the final 55 minutes of the show right after this.
Follow Sean Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at LegacyCreditUnion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville.
It's that time of year. Hoops, hops, and wings with our friends at Walk-Ons. We're talking about the unbelievable madness of the best viewing and the best food in town.
This tournament season, try any of the 3 local walk-ons in Trustville, Stadium Trace in Hoover, and also the Greystone location. A wonderful menu with original food, great drinks, but most importantly in tournament season, TVs everywhere, so you can keep up with how your bracket's burning.
Your home for all the tournament action is Walk-On Sports Bistro. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Man, that's a bold question, but it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. One thing's for sure, when you've got an irresistible, tasty match like Zero Sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste it with your ears, because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. Truthfully, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar. Best Coke ever?
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We'll hear some more locker room and some more Nate Oats as we set the table for the weekend coming up. Just really, really great folks down at Champy's Chicken. I'm told that the folks who were there, as you would imagine, when the clock was hitting 0 at the bar area, time's ticking down. Got a little excited there. So too did they over at Rounders in Tuscaloosa. This hour brought to you by Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, Shirlingman, the folks with the great chicken there. But you see the logo there. But Scott's going to pull up Rounders in Tuscaloosa while he's doing that. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, deep southern fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. It is there for you. But the scene there, all the students not there, the clock's ticking down, then they hit off the smoke machine, fog machine when it goes to 0.
That's very aggressive.
Just an unbelievable scene there. And that was bars all up and down the strip. That's Rounders, same way in Innisfree and everywhere else.
Now, Lance, you may, Rockstar, somebody may have experienced this. I have not. If I'm standing below that feels very aggressive, the old smoke machine there. Feels like that's coming out at a high rate.
I don't think you can feel it.
You can kind of smell it.
Yeah,
it's like a weird smell, but it's not like overwhelming. Because you're been in a fog.
I'm going to tell you 99% are a little lubed up there.
No, they don't notice it.
Yeah, no.
It was a late tip already.
Yep.
I do not like the smell of those smoke machines. I'm with Rockstar. That is a weird smell.
It does look like a sci-fi movie, like they're all getting killed.
I know.
With that smoke. The humanity.
Better than the foam party, though.
That is true. Yeah.
Depends on how you look at it, LT. But that was the scene this weekend. We appreciate everybody who's been celebrating this Alabama win, Alabama Nation. Very happy about being there. Let's hear some sound. Let's go Ryland Griffin first. Cut 7, Rockstar. Ryland Griffin, after the North Carolina game, mentioned about he's a big WWE fan, and he referenced a couple of storylines in the WWE that felt like Alabama had awakened from the dead and was making a comeback and blah, 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 blah. So much so that the WWE saw that on social media. They were tagged by a couple of folks. And they overnighted. This is a real championship belt that he gets surprised with. From the WWE, they overnighted this belt to Alabama. And they had it ready for the postgame. And Ryland had no idea that it was going to walk up to him in the postgame here.
You know, I know he's very, very happy, and I'm very, very, very proud of him. He's very young, and this is only the beginning for him.
What you were talking about the Undertaker streak the other day? He got something for you. He got something for you, baby. He got something for you.
Hold on. They surprised me with this one. This one. I gotta get a foot with this one. I ain't gonna lie. Yo, this is crazy, yo. I'm not gonna lie. This is deadly, yo. Hold on. Let me make my entrance ready. Let me get my entrance ready. I walk down, just got my music playing. What's your dance? What you gonna do? What you gonna come out and do? I ain't got no dance. I'm at the Triple H though.
That's cool.
And I'm told.
Hey, where you get this from?
The WWE, they said that you took.
For real?
Yeah, I was up.
Oh yeah, this fire, yo. Thank you, WWE. Shout out to you. I watched you since I was a kid. This is like, that's almost better than the trophy to me.
Almost better than the trophy. The Final
That's
Four
pretty
trophy.
funny.
Hey, how nice were the locker rooms at Crypto?
How what?
Were they nice?
Oh, they were not. They did not.
That's amazing.
At least Alabama was not allowed in the Lakers
I
locker
bet
room.
nobody used the Lakers locker room.
Yeah, I would imagine nobody used the Lakers. I assume they didn't use the Clippers. And I did one interview in the Kings locker room. One interview was where they had a breakout for each starter. Breakout room number 3 was the LA Kings locker room, and it was.
Did it smell like hockey?
It did smell like hockey.
That's a bad smell.
I think Adele sold out Staples 4 consecutive nights, which is not a surprise when you look at the crowd and everybody coming in from California.
Trust
do you
me,
think she got the Lakers?
She wasn't in the Alabama locker
That's what I
room.
was going to say. Do you think somebody like Adele gets the Lakers locker room?
No, I guarantee you. The Lakers built that building, right?
Yeah, they did.
I guarantee you the Lakers said, this is our
I say that.
locker room.
It was Lakers Clippers.
Yeah. Okay. I guarantee you the Lakers said, this is our locker room. Nobody else used it.
Yeah, what's the combination? We got a tournament coming in.
You don't worry about it. Yep. This is the Lakers locker room.
I would tell you this, though. We got time. I'll tell.
Tell the story, Jim.
So in the bathroom where we were, I had to walk either to the Sky Club half the way around the one arena to go to the bathroom, or to the Chick Hearn press room the other way. So nowhere near, they didn't have enough bathrooms underneath there because you couldn't jump into the locker rooms. So one way was toward, it gets really fancy, it gets closer to the Laker locker room, but it was a longer walk. To the Chick Hearn bathroom I go. Well, I get to the Chick Hearn bathroom, Rockstar, and you guys tell me how you read this. It says restroom, and it's got a triangle pointing up and a triangle pointing down, and they're intersecting. Is that men or women?
No, we're in LA.
Triangle up, triangle down, and they're intersecting in the middle. Men or women?
I think it's anything goes.
Yeah, non-gender specific.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's
Is there
all
another
gender.
door? So, by the way, I think for the record that they should all be family bathrooms because I hate standing in line when the women's bathroom is open, and I've used it before. It should be first come, first served.
I like the family bathroom idea. It's just not real practical for large events like that. Yeah.
So Jimmy America, quickly, because this was not during, it wasn't at halftime where there's always a line. This was during the game. I was just breaking out during a TV timeout. I go dashing in, and there are 2 women washing their hands. And I'm like, whoa,
triangles.
back up. I said, I am so sorry.
Sorry, ladies. Did not know you were triangles.
And I walk a little further down. There's not another bathroom anywhere in the Chick Hearn press area.
So you peed in the sink.
It's everybody goes. It's an everybody goes bathroom.
Well, but there were women in there.
It's an everybody goes bathroom.
Well, are there urinals?
But were they women?
Yeah. Are there urinals, or was it all stalls?
It was all sit downs, but it was 4 doors or 3 doors. And basically the sinks you share and the doors were all private. Honest to goodness, a lady called Brian Passing out for not putting the seat down after he peed.
I'd have pissed on the wall.
He comes out.
Or I would have put it down and pissed all over the seat.
This is the way we do it in the men's room.
He comes back out, and she's going into his door next, and she's like, thanks for putting the seat down. And I was like, what world are we living in?
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
So, but all right, so it's like a common area hand wash, but it's private doors for the bathroom.
Yeah, but I mean, they're right outside the door. I mean, if I had to sit down for a little bit, Brownie, that was going to be totally uncomfortable.
The late great Chick Hearn is flipping over in his grave.
Yeah, he would not approve this.
But it freaked me out a little bit. I was in line when the lady yelled back at Passing, hey, thanks for putting the seat down.
Yeah.
I was like,
did he respond at all?
I mean, in my career, I used to pee in a trough.
Oh, I know.
And now I'm sharing a restroom.
Yeah, that would have been a see you next Tuesday moment for me.
I don't know why up and down triangle is the sign for that. I think you could clear that up a little bit with a better sign on the door, and Dunaway would not have had this issue.
Like, come on in, all welcome.
Well, you know, some Mexican joints try to throw you off.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
When they start saying El Diablo or whatever.
It's not El Diablo. That's where Satan pees.
The show being brought to you, more post-game sound in a second. The show being brought to you by our friends at A+.
A+ Tile Home Remodeling, Jim. That is my guy, Brad Bell. That is who redid the bathroom in my house and redid the master bath in Lance's house. And I bring that up because that is his specialty. Master bathroom remodel, master bedroom closet remodel, and kitchen remodel. And that is where you're going to get your money back when you sell your house, and it's what you're going to enjoy. Just think about how much time you spend in your kitchen, in your master bathroom, and in your master bedroom closet. I would guess Brad would put 2 triangles on the door done away if you want to do your bathroom that way at the house. I don't know. But Scott is showing you video of a recent master bedroom closet that they redid. You can see how incredible it looks. I'm just going to give you Brad's cell number. Call him to set up a consultation, to hire him. Listen, when it came time for us to do our master bathroom remodel, my wife scoured the internet. I can promise you that. This is the guy she picked after reading reviews, talking to people that had used certain contractors. We're happy she did. 205-422-1758. That is Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling. 205-422-1758. If you miss any of that, I'll be happy to put you in touch with Brad. Just reach out to me. 205-422-1758 for Brad Bell.
Rockstar Cut 5. And I want to ask you what Aaron Estrada says here. I would love to know how big of a factor you think this is playing on this Alabama run. 4 NCAA tournament wins there. I think now Alabama has 8 NCAA tournament wins in the last 4 years. They had 7 in the previous 26 years, I believe is the number. Here's Aaron Estrada, and you tell me how big of a factor this is and what's going on now for this team.
I think what makes this team special is the fact that we had a rocky start, and SEC play was a little up and down for us. And how we ended the season, I think people really didn't believe that we'll be here right now. I seen a lot of people counting us out on, their brackets and all the ESPN guys saying we're going to lose the first round, and then they say we're going to lose the second round. Then we say we're going to lose this game. So it's crazy, man, but I'm super happy for this team. This team has overcame a lot.
How much is the chip on helping out here?
I mean, I do think there's a chip on the shoulder, but I mean, this team, I don't know if I feel like Lance is a chip on the shoulder situation. Maybe that's NC State. It feels like this team just flipped a switch.
Yeah, and that's kind of sad when you think about it. Like, you heard Richard Hendricks talk about this as kind of an effort thing, and you saw when they were called out, I guess, against South Carolina, and they played incredible defense that game. And then it just seemed like defensively they were going through the motions. They weren't getting the loose balls. They weren't getting the rebounds. And now things have completely flipped. You can play with a chip on your shoulder, but what about everybody that had Alabama winning it last year?
Yeah, that's right.
I had Alabama winning it last year.
Didn't have a chip on their shoulder last year.
No, I'm just saying. But, I mean, who didn't doubt outside of maybe the players and Nate Oats, this Alabama team coming into this?
But here's the thing. Nate Oats is now 7-3 in NCAA tournament games at Alabama. Richard Hendricks mentioned it earlier. You watched him at Buffalo. No, Pettway mentioned it earlier. You watched him at Buffalo, or Richard or Pettway won. They went to the tournament in advance to Buffalo. Now, he was 1 and done 1 year, but he made it to the round of 32 twice.
Wore Arizona out 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that knows how to coach in the NCAA tournament. Now, the knock on him was he'd never made it past the Sweet 16. Well, now he's in the Final Four, so you got to drop that knock. But this guy, more often than not, when he makes the tournament, he knows how to advance in the tournament. I do think that, it's a skill. I mean, I think coaches knowing how to coach in the NCAA tournament, they got to learn how to do it, Lance, but I think it's a skill once they learn.
Well, I think this is advantage Alabama now. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but to have this extra time to prepare for Klingon. And you can't really prepare for Alabama because they have so many guys that can shoot it. As long as the ball rotation's good, anybody that's open or has a good look can knock it down.
Did you guys read the Washington Post story?
About Kim Mulkey?
No. The one about Alabama.
No, I read the Kim. No, I don't know if she has yet or not. I read the Kim Mulkey one because she made such a big deal about it.
Was it not that big of a deal?
No.
Yeah, it was nothing we didn't already know.
No, it was absolutely nothing new. It was just a feature on Kim Mulkey she refused to do an interview for, and she made it out like they were going to, call her Adolf Hitler.
I'm going to assume Christine Brennan didn't do the piece.
She's USA Today. No, It was Kent Babb, who used to cover the NFL for, and he's with the Washington Post now.
But
I did not read the Alabama.
A lot of the stuff about her beliefs on Brittany Griner and her sexual orientation was already in Brittany Griner's book. There was nothing.
There was nothing new in that.
Nothing that was new in that.
She made a much bigger deal. She made people like me go read it, which I guess the Washington Post appreciates.
But the Washington Post writes a story the day after the North Carolina game, because the reporter that covers it for the Washington Post, I guess, is sitting in front of the Alabama section for the North Carolina game, and he's hearing everything that's going on. Well, some of their analytic guys were having to sit in the Alabama section because by NCAA tournament rules, some of those, they only have so many access on the bench there. So the overflow of analytic guys and everything are actually sitting with Alabama tickets now. And because of the seating arrangement, Alabama was a lower seed. You had Arizona and North Carolina fans and Arizona fans behind the bench. Well, Clemson and Alabama fans were across the way. So here's Alabama's analytic guys over here and some of their GAs sitting behind press row in the student section. And they were writing a story like it was the biggest cheating scandal of all time. There's no rule violations here, but those players in a very half-empty arena, those analytic guys in half-empty arenas were able to start yelling out analytic stuff like plays that were being run from North Carolina and stuff because they had a view at the bench and there was nothing illegal about it. But the Washington Post writes a story about, I read it and, people were like, oh, what do you think of the Washington Post story? They're trying to make Alabama out being cheaters. I read it and I was like, what a machine that Nate Oats has built.
Where was Connor Stallions?
I know. But this happens in every game, right? I mean, if you could, if a guy comes up and holds up two fingers and you run the same thing every time, any coach in America is going to figure that one out, right?
Yeah. I read the story from when I read it, I was like, man, he has got a machine. Sign stealing by players, coaches, and staff members is common practice during college basketball and NBA games, though Alabama was afforded an unusual advantage Thursday. Well, that's just the way the arena was set up. Now, Alabama.
I'm shocked the Washington Post has enough money to send somebody to different sites.
It may have been a stringer. I don't know.
Could have been a stringer, yeah.
I read that and I was reading the whole thing. I was like, this guy is an analytic machine over there. And you watch it at Alabama home games that when they're running over sheets every time out, and Nate talked about it in the post game because he gets all asked about it. He's like, every time out, I get handed 3 sheets of stats, analytics information from my staff. And he goes into every timeout with these 3 sheets that the mathematician he is read it. People were asking me, what do you think? Is it going to be a scandal? I was like, a scandal? I'd frame it and hang it in my office. I thought it was a compliment. All right.
By the way, I wanted to ask you, because we talked about this pregame on Saturday, what did tickets end up going for that regional final?
You could have set row 10 behind the Alabama bench for $80.
Oh my gosh!
Row 10 for $80.
Row 10 behind the Alabama bench. Yeah. As an Alabama fan or an all.
Well, like if I'm just a huge Lakers or Clippers fan and I just love basketball, go to a regional final.
Yeah,
under $100.
There ended up being more people there than I thought was going to be there.
Yeah. I thought, and it sounded like when Alabama was nailing those threes down the stretch, it sounded like there was a lot of Alabama fans there. I just assume most Alabama fans in that situation, Lance, are like, well, it's hard to get out to L.A. I'm just going to save up and go to Phoenix if they win. If they lose, I would regret spending all that money to get to L.A. and watch them lose the Elite Eight.
I'll tell you, I talked to a couple of different Alabama fans that only came for Saturday's game. One, he and his son were at Steamboat skiing for spring break. And instead of flying home, they called mom and said, hey, we're just going to jump down to Phoenix real quick and catch the regional game and take a red eye out after the game. There were a lot of fans that took red eyes because the game ended at such a time. There was a flight out of LAX overnight that went out at 11 o'clock Pacific time, I guess. So they just took a red eye and flew home after the game to make it home in time for Easter. A lot of people asleep in the pews yesterday morning if you went to the early service.
I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, trash coming up on the other side. The show being brought to you by our friends at NASCAR, getting you ready for the racing. Show that video one more time, Forrester Brown having a great time over at Talladega Superspeedway. That's us acting like we're spotters up high above the track there. 2.66 miles around the track. You can upgrade with the Talladega Garage Experience and get unbelievable access. That's the garage area we're walking into. That garage area has all the great NASCAR NASCAR teams in there, housed in there. You can watch them work on the cars, talk to the crew and the NASCAR drivers, maybe get an autograph, pre-race festivities, all the great racing going on at Talladega. Get your tickets today, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Camping all week as well, however much you want to bite off. It is a great experience. It's 877-GO-TO-DEGA, 877-GO-TO-DEGA, or TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Coolray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by Amherst, at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Rolling on the next round here. Before we get to trash, let me tell you again about the availability that we now have for you. If you would like to go out to the Final Four, tip off your weekend with a trip to the men's Final Four with Total Sports Travel. They're taking us and can take you to roll with the tide in Phoenix. So hop on. The official University of Alabama travel packages are still available. Round trip, private, nonstop charter, air transportation, meal, and beverage services on board for the trip. Round trip, airport, hotel transfers, 4 nights, hotel accommodations at official NCAA assigned hotels. Round trip transfers from the hotel to State Farm Stadium Saturday and Monday. Official Final Four souvenir, event credential with a lanyard, on-site travel directors, and a lot more, all included in your package. Visit TotalSportsTravel.com to book your trip today. TotalSportsTravel.com to book your trip today. And they'll get you there with, it looks to be all-inclusive. as I sit there and look at that for most of the whole trip, or at least mostly inclusive there, to get you there and enjoy Alabama's first ever trip to the Final Four. That is TotalSportsTravel.com to book that trip today. All right, trash is coming up, but real quickly, a couple of April 1st things. First, let's go to the football one. How about, we've seen it with basketball all the time, right? Let's play a game on the aircraft carrier. Today, Florida Atlantic makes the announcement. Battle of the Coast, Florida Atlantic, South Florida, November 1st, right there on the aircraft carrier.
Cannot believe people bid on this.
Ain't nobody in the military letting those two programs use that.
Cannot believe anybody bid on that one. It doesn't even look like a real aircraft carrier.
Yeah, happy April 1st, everyone, for that one. And then another one I think is an April Fool's joke for, so I have to tell me if it is or not. But Duke says coming this fall, they're going with the all-blue turf there at Duke Stadium. Forger, you're the one that sent this to me. April Fools or not?
I would say definitely April Fools.
I think, didn't they do rules against this? I thought they changed the rules on what color your field could be in the, like, Eastern Washington and Boise were grandfathered in. I could be wrong about that.
I hope so. I hate.
There's no way Duke's going
I hate
to
watching multicolored turfs now.
Zero chance Duke's doing a blue.
Yeah, April Fools, everybody. Let's do trash, brought to you by Mortgage Right. Hit it, Rockstar.
Now, extinctions, I don't have to tell you, have been part of the natural history of the world for millennia. And man-made extinctions have even happened before. I guess we hunted the dildo into extinction. But the dodo, rather. Forgive me. I'm having trouble with my words today.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, are you a veteran looking for that VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. It's a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being. They can help you find the best terms available and guide you through every single step of the process. Visit their location, Highway 280. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. We start first with offbeat holidays right here in the month of April.
I love these.
I can do this once or twice a year, but April 5th is Deep Dish Pizza Day.
You got to get like 2 hours for them to
Lou
cook
Malnati's is my favorite. I know we
Gino's East for
and
me.
your Picados?
It's God, I always forget it. I want to say Perditos.
Picados.
Is it Picados,
Yeah.
you think? Okay. It is. That's my favorite one.
I tell you, a lot of work for what I feel like is subpar pizza to what I normally get, if I'm being honest.
Man, I am a very, very thin crust guy.
Me too.
But there's something about if you haven't had it in a long time.
No, it's one of those, like when you go to Chicago, you need to do it, but I wouldn't eat it. I know if I lived in Chicago, I'd rarely eat it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And by the way, that's it, Daniel.
Pequods.
Thank you. Yeah, I would tell you this. You wait 2 hours for it, and then it comes out, and it's so hot, you've still got to wait for it.
That's right, yes.
It comes out
It's like a
piping
big-ass
hot.
cheesecake.
It is. You got to plan ahead on that one.
You'll love this next one, both of you guys. Wednesday, April 10th is Golfer's Day.
I mean, Wednesday, April 10th. Are we playing Dunaway? We got anything that day on the calendar?
Let's book it.
You wanna go?
Let's book it, man.
All right. Golf card. We'll just use the golf card. We'll spin the wheel and go to one of our courses on the golf card.
Oh, let's do that.
Nextround.store.
Get Little T, and everybody can come. Ride around in cards.
Sure. Why not?
So Friday, April 12th, I had 3 of these on Saturday. National Grilled Cheese Day. And they were the best grilled cheese I've ever had. So Maddie made them with Munster cheese, mayonnaise, and apricot preserve.
Oh, wow. My goodness.
Yeah, so I had one for lunch, and then late night, I had 2 more.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I would go without the mayo, but that does sound very good.
I can have some brought up April 12th.
I'm in.
Of course, you need them kind of hot.
Well, that's true. I don't want a cold grilled cheese.
She could bring a hot plate.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It's got a hot plate.
I would tell
and
you
Patrick, it was fancy.
It is fancy. That's high-end grilled cheese.
Right before I left, the night before, I cooked my own dinner, and I had 2 grilled cheeses at the house with 3 slices of Kraft.
I don't care how old you
white
are.
bread. It was good.
Anytime you see the kid get the grilled cheese brought out from the kids menu, you want it.
Yeah.
Do you remember Scott Wilder, a guy we used to work with in radio? He was a funny guy. We used to go to Milo's at lunch. There was a Milo's not far from the radio station, and he would order grilled cheese as his
No, the
dessert.
toasted cheese.
The toasted cheese, yeah. He would get that as his dessert.
That's what Jack gets, typically a double and 2 toasted cheese. Ex-wife Bethany, all she'll eat's a toasted cheese with the sauce to go. They're fantastic.
Oh, by the way, what's the difference between a grilled cheese and a toasted cheese?
Toasted cheese
is on a hamburger bun, yeah.
Okay.
But that's what he used to get that. He'd order it. I'll take a combo number 1 and the toasted cheese. And I would say, toasted cheese? He goes, my dessert.
Thursday, April 18th, National High Five Day.
Huge fan.
Thursday, April 25th, we could all do this. Take your daughter to work day.
Yeah, I got 2 of them.
And April 27th, National Prime Rib Day. Not a big fan.
Not a big fan.
Yep.
Not a big fan of prime rib, Rockstar.
There was a
No,
window.
nope. What about a good prime rib?
Nope, not even a good prime
I
rib.
think it was bigger in the 80s. I remember going to like a 7th grade dance, and we went to the 5th quarter, which is over by our old.
Yep.
And I remember getting the prime rib and thinking,
This
this
is
shit's
living.
legit.
This is living.
Yeah, I remember O'Charlie's was one of the first big chain restaurants to come to Oxford.
Sunday after church.
Yeah, we did not have big chain restaurants in Anniston, and then a Red Lobster and an O'Charlie's came to Oxford, and they stayed covered up. But I remember O'Charlie's would have prime rib night, and I was like, one of these days, I'm going to have prime rib there, and I got it. I was like, I'm not a big fan of this.
I'm going to eat prime rib every night.
I am not a big fan of this.
Rockstar, help me out. Bengaluru, man?
Yeah, sure. It's let's just say a man in India.
Okay.
This is a bad situation here. This guy thought it was going to be funny for him to pull into a convenience store gas station and pump hot air into his rectum.
Okay.
Is that you guys just I want to
his friend did it to him as a prank.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I gotta ask some questions here.
Yeah, but let me ask you, what do you think the end result is?
I think the end result is his intestines exploded.
What do you think the end result?
Oh, I'm going to agree with Brown.
So you think dead?
Oh, he's
I do
100%
think
dead.
he's
Yeah,
100%
dead as a
He
wedge.
flew away like a pop balloon.
Yeah.
He's like Charles Barkley
Yeah, but
in the
before
commercials.
you give me the real story, I thought it was the same guy, and it blew his hair and his face up. It made the beard grow really quick, and his face puffs out.
Yes.
According to police, 24-year-old Yogesh died after his friend Murali pumped hot air into his rectum. The incident took place March 25th. Police told News 18 Murali was employed at the service center where his friend went to get his two-wheeler washed. Police say after the motorbike wash was done, both started playing with a powerful electric blow dryer used for dry vehicles.
Take your pants off.
That's when Murali first used a hot blower on Yogesh's face and his back and finally filled his rectum with hot air.
You guys play differently
Finally.
than I do.
Finally.
Now,
filled
Is that an Adidas jacket? No, that's an Adidas.
Oh, this
a little bit of a knockout.
sounds so painful. As the warm air filtered entered his body via the anus, his abdomen expanded. He collapsed. He was taken to the hospital.
Bad.
Needed emergency operation. Failed to respond to the treatment. Died at the local hospital the next day.
Does it say if his intestines exploded? I'm going to guess that's what got him.
Due to high pressure on the blow dryer, there was massive damage to his intestines.
So it's interesting also to me in this story that apparently also in India, most of the service stations are run by people from India, which I did not know that it was, translated to being in India as well. I just didn't know if that was a United States thing.
I'm going to go wash the old two-wheeler.
You guys ever seen the movie Hustlers?
It wasn't the only thing he was watching.
with J-Lo. It was based on the true story of Scores New York strip club.
I have not seen that, no.
Where they were actually drugging dudes, their marks, and running up their credit cards. And a lot of these guys were afraid based on wife or whatever to do anything about it. And so they made a ton of money doing it. Looks like it's happening again.
When I walked in, would they have said, we got a mark? Would they have looked at me and said,
this guy.
Around 20 people have filed a lawsuit against a chain of Arizona strip clubs where claims have been people have been drugged and swindled out of an eye-watering collective sum of $1.1 million in the VIP rooms.
in Arizona, you say?
Yeah.
Brown, can you see what hotel that is right beside you?
Bones Cabaret, Skin Cabaret, Dream Palace have been named in the latest lawsuit. Some plaintiffs allege they were drug scammed out of six-figure sums. Now, an Air Force member who goes by the alias of Joe was charged a staggering $72,000.
What's your alias? Joe.
On his credit
Sergeant
cards.
Joe?
What do you notice odd about this picture?
A lot of things. It does not look like, they got picnic tables outside.
We got outdoor eating.
Outdoor eating outside a strip club.
It's a beautiful day.
Hey, they're open for business.
No windows, but apparently a drive-through.
Rockstar, when's the last time they checked on that sign on the roof, too?
Oh, my God. At least they don't have a wacky inflatable tube man.
Now, another guy, his alias Bobby, alleged that he spaced out, had no clue what was happening after arriving in the VIP room. He spent an eye-watering $181,000 at the club. In the movie, they almost kill somebody because they put too much roofie in.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm not a strip club guy. The last time we went, we left immediately, 2015 in Dallas. But this shouldn't go on. If this is your vice.
That's right.
So basically what they're banking on is these guys are not going to tell their significant other or have the fortitude to call the bank and say, hey, yeah, I was at the strip club, but. Is that what they're counting on?
Well, this was happening at the Gold Room. Steve Kaplan, I think, was the guy that was running it in Atlanta. And there were major guys like Dikembe Mutombo was caught up in this, and they were doing the exact same thing.
Just thinking that there's no way they'll report it because they don't want the embarrassment of saying they were at a strip club.
The girls, contest it because they'll be like, he got so drunk. Because what they do is once they pass out, they call the credit card.
Yeah.
They've got their PIN number, and then they,
and they say he did it. I mean, he doesn't remember it because he was drunk off as you know what, but he did it.
And everybody at these clubs is typically involved.
That looks like an upstanding joint there, right there.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
I'm surprised they've gotten sucked into this.
Well, I think it probably used to be a fast food restaurant. You think?
Package store.
Yeah, I'm with Lance. It does have the package store vibe to it.
Yeah.
You just had to fill in all the windows.
So Logan Paul, it's his birthday. I couldn't find any good celebrity birthdays. I left him out. But the social media star turned WWE wrestler has reached new heights in his career in recent months, joining the wrestling industry and reigning as the current United States champion. I didn't even realize that. But he has put
yourself an American
list of qualities together that he wanted his other half to have. So these are qualities he's looking for in a partner.
Okay. Nice cheekbones.
He starts with wit, confidence, intelligence, opinionated, empathetic, self-aware, active listener, sexual deviant.
Oh, he's narrowing the field a bit.
It's a must-have. Non-negotiable.
You doing this in reverse order?
Non-negotiable sexual deviant.
Now
he strong chin. Does he like a strong chin?
He's engaged to some model, Nina Adgel.
Is that her?
I don't think so.
You think she's read the job description?
Is that her?
She's like, I don't think
she's got an interesting mouth.
That's what I keep saying. Cheekbones and her chin there are. I don't think he'll face a chin like that until he punches at Mike Tyson.
I wonder if she's read the job description, though. Huh?
That's the other Paul.
I know, that's the joke in the show, right?
Okay.
Every time we say something, it's always the other Paul.
Well, is he the one? Is this the one that owns Prime?
That's Feinbaum. No, I don't know.
Yeah. This is the wrestler.
This is the wrestler, okay.
Yeah. Of course, he did box Floyd Mayweather. I'll tell you, man, they're obnoxious, but they're talented kids.
And they've made a ton of money, right?
Yeah, a ton of money.
Out of nowhere. I mean, you gotta. We celebrate people, and we talked about this some with Antoine Pettway, right? People that have climbed their way up. You can like or dislike these guys, but they are self-made.
Well, and they've made something with it. You know, and I heard an interview with Logan a couple of years ago, and he was talking about his dad just made them bust their ass on like hard work. So they were YouTube influencers, but they have parlayed this into. I mean, I'm not going to say he's a legitimate boxer. In Jake Paul, and I'm not. I don't know. I mean, you can hear from Lunsford. I know Lunsford's a wrestling aficionado. I mean, is Logan Paul a good wrestler? I mean, I know he's athletic.
I think he's a very good wrestler. I mean, is he like the face of the company? No, but he's getting there.
But you know, that's what's crazy about these brothers, man, is they put so much work in.
But my point, Lunsford, is we celebrate a guy that starts as the custodian and ends up owning the company, right?
Yeah.
But we don't celebrate these guys the same way because they're quote-unquote YouTube influencers.
Oh, anybody that says these people don't put the work in,
no doubt.
Don't know what's
and
that.
Lunsford, we've done this. To become a YouTube influencer is not easy. That is not something you just wake up one morning and do.
Now, they were shocked when they originally did it. I think they went to, what is the sacred like graveyard where there's like, is it over in Japan?
That's a hanging, that's a lot of suicides going in this.
Yeah, and so they went in and took a bunch of videos, which I think is kind of sacred grounds, right?
Yeah, people take, it's sad, like people take strings with them just in case they change their mind because you get lost and they follow the string back like I changed my mind. I got to come back because you get lost.
Wow, like that is a hard pass for me.
It is a suicide forest.
Is there a documentary on that thing?
I'm sure there is, but a bad movie was made about it too.
Anyway, did the new year add to your financial uncertainty? Let the experts at Mortgage Right help get your financial house in order. Their team of experts can make sure you're prepared for anything 2024 may bring, including freeing up cash for the things you need to get done. Take control today. Visit Mortgage Right, Highway 280. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, we continue on. Amazing graphic of analytics from Alabama's win over Clemson. And Nate Oats talking about his system coming up in the final segment of the show that is brought to you today in part by our friends at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola Classic, spiced for the flavor of summer of 2024. It's the Coca-Cola Classic with added spice flavors and a hint of raspberry. It is all there for you. In a great bottle, find it at your local retailer. It is Coca-Cola Spiced.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Tournament time is almost here, but any time is a great time to jump on with MyBookie.ag. When you sign up at MyBookie.ag, use code NEXTROUND for a special sign-on bonus. You can use that bonus right away. Win once with it, it is yours and yours forever. Not like some of the sites that make you win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before you keep the bonus. You win once at MyBookie.ag, it is yours forever. Basketball tournaments, NBA, the start of Major League Baseball, NASCAR, and golf. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Cool Ray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Hang out with the next round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the next round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Final segment of the show, including JD on the phone, longtime Alabama fan, who's going to join us after I tell you the University of Montevallo, montevallo.edu. There for your son or daughter as you start to think about that next step in their educational process. Montevallo is a place you'll find a home there, whether it's a wonderful business school, theater department, music school, nursing school very soon, and great athletics. It's all right there at montevallo.edu. Montevallo.edu, that beautiful campus and a great, great college experience. All right there, montevallo.edu. JD is in Huntsville. JD, at times you've been a little hard on this team this year, but they've delivered something that has never happened before. How happy are you today?
I'm ecstatic, and I'll admit I was totally wrong. I mean, last time I talked to you guys, I said they could lose to Charleston. I just had no confidence. You know, I was up in Nashville, watched them just get blitzed by Florida. It wasn't feeling good with the injuries and all that. But how many times have we seen this? It's kind of like MLB. I mean, you just got to get in the tournament and then get hot. And Alabama was more than capable because we've seen them do it before. It's just would they be able to do it? And the thing about this team, you look at the game against Grand Canyon. Diabate stepped up. Didn't expect that. And then Carolina, Nelson steps up. Didn't expect that. And then this last game against Clemson, you got Stevenson stepping up. No one could have predicted that. And that's the kind of thing you got to have if you're going to make a run. Now, guys, I have looked at all three of Connecticut's losses this year. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at them. Kansas, of course, beat them at home, but they had a big. Dickinson stepping out, hitting threes, bringing Klingen away from the basket, so that helped in that game. The only one that didn't have a big, Seton Hall didn't really have a big to match up with them, but yet somehow they were able to grind it out, and UConn just didn't play a good game. I have no idea what the analytics say in terms of how Alabama's going to win this thing. I just kind of believe that they got a shot. If anybody can beat UConn, it's Alabama. I'd rather play UConn having a whole week to get ready than having to play a Monday night after just a one-day rest and having to look at it real quick. What do you think?
Yeah, I said it earlier. I think to prepare for Klingen, because Alabama's so difficult to prepare for because so many guys, you don't know who's going to step up. So many different guys can hit outside shots when they're hot. Here's what is worrisome, though. Alabama is 19-1 when they score 89 or more points. This is a UConn team defensively. This is where they've been dominant. They're giving up 53.5 points per game through their first 4 tournament games.
53.5.
And so you've got a 36-point difference there.
You got a half of basketball you got to make up.
Yep.
And again, it's going to come down to the threes. When Alabama hits 40+%, they have an excellent opportunity to win games, but I think they're going to have to be better than that.
Can they do it, JD?
They absolutely can do it. Clemson had only given up 14 made threes in the tournament, and then Alabama just goes wild and hits 16 on them. It's just a matter of confidence. When you got confidence like Sears had down the stretch, you don't even think about it. You pull the trigger from the logo, and you just know you're going to make it. And that's the kind of thing that Clemson thought they were going to come back. They kept hitting threes. And then Bama would match it with the threes. Like everything they did, they just could not get over the top. Bama's got to get UConn a little nervous. When you get nervous in the Final Four, I don't care how good you are, it can affect you.
Yep. Thank you, JD. I will say, here's the thing. Seton Hall forced 17 turnovers. They do not turn the ball over a lot, UConn. Seton Hall in that one loss forced 17, where they only hit 3 threes. Creighton didn't force a ton of turnovers. Lance, we talked about earlier, they hit 14 threes.
Well, they dominated that game.
Yeah.
Kalkbrenner, what did he have? Because Ryan Kalkbrenner is a 7-footer that's got skill, or 6'11".
Yeah, Kalkbrenner that game for Creighton scored 15.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't go crazy.
I got one more soundbite for you, but a shot chart here. Rockstar, will you cue up cut number 2 while Forrester shows us this shot chart that Reed pointed out to us. Look at this is Alabama's shots, where their shots came from in the game. Look at that, all at the rim inside the semicircle under the rim, and then everything else is out there. Only one miss there in the no shoot zone. But look at that shot chart.
I mean, those are chippies.
Yep. And they missed several of those.
They did. Pringle had a couple misses early on that.
Well, and this is important to look at because Illinois in that first half, where Illinois should have had a really good lead on UConn, and maybe it's a different game, they had a lot of opportunities at the rim. Because of Donovan Klingen, they were afraid, and he altered their shots. Didn't just get the 8 blocks or whatever it was. They missed a lot of layups because they were scared they were going to get the block.
Yeah. It is funny how you view, like I was watching Tennessee and Purdue yesterday, and when you see that mid-range jumper, you're like, oh, that's an inefficient shot.
Yeah.
I mean, this style of basketball.
Coaches hate players taking that shot right now.
Yeah, and it's the Nate Oats system. He started that when he first came down here, preaching that and educating the Alabama fans about how inefficient the 15-foot jumper was. Here's Nate Oats after punching a ticket to the Final Four about his system.
How do you feel like the run you guys have made, now reaching the Final Four, has vindicated the system that you run?
That's a great question because a lot of people question, can you win big in March shooting all the threes you shoot? I don't know. How many did we shoot tonight? I don't know. For all the naysayers, is 36 too many? 16 out of 36 ain't bad, though. 48 points from three-point line isn't too bad. So, look, it's not – and here's the thing people don't understand. We're not trying to shoot 53s. We're trying to take the most efficient shots we can. I think you can win playing this way. They win playing this way in the NBA. We've just proven you can make a Final Four run. And you know what? UConn's a pretty good team, and they play somewhere. Now, they play through the post a lot, but Danny's big on offensive efficiency, playing the right way, getting the right shots. Now, their defense is a lot better than ours. We're going to have to figure out how to beat them. But I think more college teams are starting to play a more efficient style of basketball like we've been playing.
I mean, for the record, the three-pointer in his system is the third most efficient shot. He's not saying that I want nothing but threes. In his system, free throws, shots at the rim, and three-pointers. That's your most efficient shots.
Yeah.
If you gave him nothing but free throws and shots at the rim, he'd take that too, right? But that's just, nobody can play that way. I guess, in theory, Purdue could play that way because they did yesterday. Nothing but free throws and shots at the rim.
Yeah, I mean, Purdue, again, the top shooting three-point team in all of America hit 3 yesterday, and Connect went for 37, and they still won the game.
Yep.
Yeah, there's different ways of doing it. But you also never factor in the stamina of the style Alabama plays. I thought North Carolina, at the last 10 minutes of the game against Bama, I thought they looked gassed a little bit. Baycott, who had some time on the bench, got frustrated. RJ couldn't hit a shot. I thought they looked gassed.
Well, that was the biggest key, by the way.
Yeah, and I thought they were contested though. A lot of
they were,
contested,
but I mean, RJ Davis is a guy that's a first-team All-American, ACC Player of the Year, and a guy that took games over. He just couldn't make shots.
Yeah, but he was settling for threes, and Rylan Griffin and Grant Nelson were running at him with long arms.
Yeah, and I was a little surprised that Hubert Davis didn't make that, just make the adjustment where he started to take it to the basket late and got to the line a couple of times. And, if you're not hitting your shots, you trust him to hit some of these shots. But you're right. I mean, the contested shots with Alabama's length, I thought that they would make a better adjustment.
And I'm telling you, one of the guys we're not talking about enough and we're talking about him, but not enough, is Rylan Griffin. What he's doing defensively. He sort of has jump-started this team defensively a little in Charleston, and then without Wrightsell, he was put on the big guy for Grand Canyon, and then he carried it over. A lot of the times was on RJ the other night, and then he was on Clemson's big guy for a little bit. I mean, he's been playing some unbelievable defense. The whole team has, but he sort of is the go-go juice on defense, in my opinion.
Can you imagine if this team had a Herb Jones?
Oh, yeah. Well, Gerard led them in scoring. But Rylan Griffin, for a lot of the end of that game, was chasing that guy all over
and early
the floor.
in the game, Gerard was 1 of 5, and that was kind of a storyline in itself. I mean, that guy pumped in over 100 threes this year.
There you go, man. Alabama in the Final Four. And we'll continue to count you down to Phoenix, Glendale officially, and the team heading back out west after coming home, and a great scene yesterday at the airport. Tomorrow's show originates live from Auburn, Alabama, inside the Auburn football complex.
That's right. Hugh Freeze with us at 11:30. John Cohen, the AD, with us early. Peyton Thorne, the quarterback, in the 10 o'clock hour with Eugene Asante and some other Auburn players.
Yeah, so that's on the show tomorrow as we originate live from Auburn, Alabama. We continue on in this time of year. A-Day, the spring game for Auburn this Saturday at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And should be a lot of fun as we talk a little football tomorrow on the show as well. God, Alabama's in the Final Four. Pretty special time. We'll see how it all rolls in. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.